Is anybody out there? Somebody! Cats running around upstairs. Dogs sitting here looking at me all silly. The stream's not starting. Is anybody out there? Alright, yeah, stream's up. What's up? Alright, everybody, what do we got? What's going on today? Right now. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay. Alright. We'll do this first. Hazel wants to say hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Hazel Basil. Let the light hit me so my dark fur can actually stand out. Hi, Hazel. It's good to see you. It's good. We got shit to do. Hey, we got stuff to do. She's like, Dad, you're home from work awful early. I am, only for a little bit. I gotta stream this, then I gotta go back. That's why you gotta let me do it. You're usually asleep at this time, so please go back to sleep. At this time. I'm not normally home at this time. Please go back to bed at this time. Alright. Hopefully that very loud exchange of words she can't understand will calm her right down. What up? It's Izzy. How we doing? Hey, green one. It's the only thing that stops the A's. Isn't that a Slipknot song? Is it Before I Forget, or is it another one? I think it is Before I Forget. Anyway, what are we doing today? We got a Photoshop right here. Now, for the actual faction war, in real time, I'm gonna do this in red. Where we currently are is here, and here. So in real time, there is one game left to be played on the left side of the bracket. I will not reveal who that is. And then we'll have our top four. Once we have our top four, I will start coordinating with those four people to get a live event together. So the two semifinals and the finals will be live. I don't have a date yet because I got to know who I'm coordinating with and work around the schedules and all that stuff, because we have been trying to be very schedule friendly, right? So to organize this into 2 replay streams, sometimes you cast like the first round of each side, and then the next stream gets kind of awkward because it's already cut in half, and the final stream's weird because there's like 4 total games. So what we're going to do is I waited, and I know you all have been patient, but we are going to cast every single game from this side of the bracket all the way up to figure out who your 2 semifinalists are from this side. And then once we get that last game completed down here, I will stream probably this week or early next week, whenever that game is finished. We will stream the other half and get top 4 going. That's about it for the announcements. We do have all replays today, like I said, because organizing a 32-person live event with 16 best of ones, followed up by 8 best of ones, followed by 4 best of ones, followed by 2 best of ones, followed by best of 3, all of them on stream, is just not a thing that you could possibly organize. Right. It's just not going to happen. Anything else? On our Discord, we did have this bracket up for people to make predictions. Whoever had the most accurate prediction before right now does get to change my profile picture for a week on Discord. It's just kind of a fun little prize for that sort of thing. Obviously, you have like 10 more seconds to submit a bracket if you haven't done so yet before the stream starts. And after now, I will not be accepting anymore. I have saved all of them that were given to me onto my desktop already. Because obviously, after we cast half of the frickin' games in this tournament, predictions aren't going to be much of a thing. Right. Okay. That's what I got for you. Oh, wait, shit. I still wanted that one up while I pull up the replays, otherwise you all know what's going on. Warhammer 3 is a video game. Hey. Hi. You better lose now that I didn't believe in your ability not to lose round 1. Perfect. Okay, first replay. I'm looking for Guillaume and Coops. Guillaume and Coops, here it is. Load it up. So that Photoshop screen will be updating throughout the thing. I will actually move the people's names along as they win, right? So that'll be our screen blockers so you can't see all the replays. Because obviously, if you see Guillaume and Coops, and then as I scroll through the replays, you see either one of their names again, you know they won, right? So we're not going to show you that. Also, real quick, I know with replays, it can be a frequent problem if you only get replays from the winner. So this event, we have been conscientious about getting replays from both the winner and loser. I can guarantee you that the loser has sent in replays. So not everything is just like green team wins, easy clap. There will be some surprises. You'll be shocked and amazed. Groots, can you change your bracket still? No, because you're in the tournament. You've been updated behind the scenes about who you're fighting. You silly. Replays are live. Replays for the round of 32, the round of 16, the round of 8, and then live for top 4. So Koops versus Guillama, the Chaos Dwarves versus Ogres. We do have Scrag the Slaughterer, interestingly enough. Now, Berserk, VM Berserk used him against my Lizardmen pretty effectively. That bonus versus infantry and armor-piercing weapon strength actually makes him a fierce combatant. And Astrogoth specifically is infantry-sized. Okay, I like this a lot from Koops. That's a neat little invention. I like it. I like it. Troll Guts and Bullgorger as his 2 spells. We have Ogre Bulls, Noblars, Ogre Bulls with dual weapons, more Noblars, some Noblar Trappers in the back. 4 Saber-Tusk packs, 1 Crusher, the Sky Strider's ROR, and a single Gorger? Looks like a single Gorger. Interesting. Oh, and a Lead Belcher. Don't know how I missed that. On the other side, for the Chaos Dwarves, we have Astrogoth, Iron Hand, with Cascading Firecloak and Ash Storm. Front line of Goblin Laborers. Secondary line of Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives. 2 Death Shrieker rocket launchers. And then a bunch of Chaos Dwarf Warriors and 2 Bull Centaur Renders with great weapons, plus some Hobgoblin Cutthroats. Ogre Bulls advancing a little bit ahead of their Noblar compatriots. You would hope that they would wait for their little friends to take some of the damage for them, but I suppose it doesn't really matter that much. Ogre Bulls advancing, Death Shriek rockets, still trying to deal with these Lead Belchers and not having the best time doing so. Ash Storm is out, and those Ogre Bulls are now just getting mulched by the Fire Glaives at point-blank range. Lead Belchers are trying to fire at the enemy Fire Glaives from a distance, but their accuracy does suffer the further they are away, which can make Lead Belchers more of a shotgun unit than a real sniper unit at times. Sky Strider's just starting to join the fight now. The flank for the Ogres is coming in. We do have all these Saber-Tusk packs, Gorgers and stuff. It's a little delayed. You would like to see, like, the Sky Striders hitting at the same time as the Saber-Tusk, and the Gorgers are still pretty far out from being into the formation, unfortunately. They're still moving up. Some Noblars are getting through the front line. Ogre Bulls trying to push their way through at the moment. Just get onto those Death Shriekers and the Infernal Guard. Stop them from shooting for a bit and force them into melee is about what you want out of this. Where did the Sky Striders end up? There they are. They still haven't committed to the fight. Neither has Scrag, and they're going to have to get involved before all of their blockers are dead. Like, these Saber-Tusk packs are holding back Bull Centaur Renders and Hobgoblins, but there's no punishment in the middle. The Chaos Dwarves are currently just kind of slapping the Ogres back to where they came from. Noblar's just getting into the fight now. What was that? Oh, Troll Guts. Okay, so the Sky Striders are trying to heal up while the Fire Glaives poke at them a little bit. Noblar's starting to join the fight. The Ogre front line has suffered extreme casualties, though. The Death Shriek rockets have done, like, next to nothing. They're trying so hard, and they got so far, but in the end, they couldn't even kill a Lead Belcher. Oh my god. That's so fucking terrible. Anyway, the Infernal Guard are falling away from the Noblar Trappers, taking a lot of damage as they do so, as the Lead Belchers are also firing in on them. Sky Striders at last going to take a charge onto the Bull Centaur Renders, and they get the charge off, so they should have the bonus, and the Renders won't. But a quick Ash Storm cast will at least make these guys weak to fire, and Cascading Firecloak gives them more damage and melee defense, while the Fire Glaives also try and offer support before they break, which they are breaking rather quickly, and wow! The Sky Striders are taking a lot of damage. Holy crap! Okay, I guess they're just fucking dead. On the other side, Gorgers, either their unit card just moved or they straight up died, but they did actually a lot of damage to Bull Centaur Renders with a little bit of Noblar Trapper support and Noblar support. The Sky Striders do manage to rout off the Fire Glaives with the help of the Lead Belchers and the Noblar Trappers, obviously, but they're just getting their shit kicked in by these Bull Centaur Renders right now. Scrag piles in. He is at last going to get his meat hooks dirty. Start cleaving through these iron glaives? Fire glaives? Fire glaives. I always do that. It's looking tough for the Ogres. The one thing I will say is a lot of the bounce power is in these pretty dog shit Death Shrieks that have very high ammo and health. So if you can take them out, the bounce power would even rather quickly. But still, without that, I mean, we have a half health Bull Centaur Render running around, Astrogoth is still full HP, and the Ogres are down to pretty much just Noblars. But man, the Death Streaks have just not been doing it for me this game. Yeah, I don't love them. Astrogoth goes to fight Scrag, who gets Massacre, giving him more weapon strength, and he can cause terror, but oh my god, he is getting murdered. He's getting murdered by Astrogoth. Good lord. He's starting to try to run away now. Throws a Bullgorger on himself, but he just can't get out of there. Astrogoth takes him to from full HP to almost dead with his 700 weapon strength. Kicks the shit out of poor Scrag. And without Scrag, then this army is about to falter and fall away. Army losses is getting close, I feel. The Ogres did eventually get through the Chaos Dwarf front line. It just took them a bit. But they took too much damage on the way in, and their single entities got murked into the dust. It was a bold attempt with Scrag and the Gorgers. GG. Is that a Death Shrieker? It was 2 Death Shriekers. I like how one side took a Gorger, the other side took Death Shriekers. And both just hand shook that we're going to take a little bit of silly stuff. Scrag struggled to get his value back. So did the Sky Striders, honestly. Gorgers did okay. They did better than the Sky Striders for once. Leadbelchers did very, very well. Ogre Bulls, mixed overall, but not great. Noblars did fine. Noblar Trappers did quite well. And Sabertoss Packs also struggled. On the other side, Astrogoth, 1,000 value, he did okay. The Bull Centaur Renders both did fantastically. The Death Shriek Rockets did very little. The Iron Glaive, I don't know why I can't do these guys' name, but I just can't. The Infernal Guard Fireglaves did okay overall. Goblin Cutthroats did fine. Goblin Laborers and Dwarf Warriors did meh. Alright, back to the Photoshop. Weird. Hold on. I don't want Corone to be fucked up, but I guess that's just what we're dealing with. So I will move Guillaume up. That is that. We'll go find Razel and Charix. Chaos Dwarves off to a good start. They are quite the strong faction. Razel and Charix. There you are. The Wood Elves. Is it their sole representative? Yes. So if you like the Wood Elves, this is your only representative in this tournament. You are cheering your ass off for them. Same with the Ogres. So actually with that, the Ogres are out. Some factions have repeats, and I'll keep an eye out for that. There are 2 Beastmen. There's Palpatina and Razel. So if the Beastmen get knocked out here, they have a second life. But this is the Wood Elves back against the wall. All right. For the builds, for the Beastmen of Razel, we have 5 Ungor Spearman herds. We have some Centaurs spam, a lot of throwing axes, a lot of regular Centaurs with actually the Sons of Goros ROR here for armor piercing and magic damage. That's pretty cool, I guess. Brave Shaman of Wild with just Traderkin and the Dagger. He is on his chariot for a little bit more mobility. Torlox the Brass Bull. And yeah, Centaurs. On the other side, for the Wood Elves of Charix, we have the Firebark Elders, an Ancient Tree Man with Awakening of the Wood, Earthblood, and Flesh to Stone. 2 Deepwood Scouts with some Swift Shiver Shards. War Dancers as a front line mixed with Dryads. Then the Wild Hunters of Kurnos and more Wild Riders in the back. This is a tough Wood Elf build to get behind. It is very, very fan favorite, fan heavy, but Wild Riders have felt like garbage to me. I don't know, they feel terrible. And Deepwood Scouts are probably the worst of the archers. Well, maybe Way Watchers are for their cost, but I feel like Glade Guard just do better in melee and do about the same DPS overall. So we'll see how it goes. I am terrified for this Beastman build. For the Wood Elf build, I'm terrified the Beastman build will rampage through them. Flesh Stone is popped on the Wild Hunters of Kurnos, giving them a very impressive 60% physical resistance, and they are holding back all of these Centaurs, while more Wild Riders charge in from both flanks. The Centaurs are forced to flee. So that is a nice little play there from Charix, getting some good advantage on the map, because now the Centaurs are going to have a hard time turning around, because if they do try to turn around, they'll just get charged by the Wild Hunters. But oh no, the Wild Hunters stop dead in their tracks for no reason and kind of sacrifice their charge bonus. How else are we doing? The Deepwood Scouts are running out of places to run. The Wood Elf front line is winning wherever it goes, but there was so little front line to do anything. They are just, like, wherever they aren't, the Beastmen are swarming in through the cracks, and Torlox is still running mostly rampant, doing whatever he wants. But War Dancers, Dryads are trying to stop him in his tracks for now, and the Ancient Tree Man is also here. In the backfield, the just sheer outnumbered massive Centaurs are weighing down on the Wild Riders. Some of them are getting some healing, other ones are just getting left to the winds, but they're doing their best to keep the backline safe. There's just too many Centaurs. There's just too many. There's too many weird horse hybrid people. They can't hold them all back. And they're doing it, actually doing an admirable job of it though. They push off the Grog's Hooves, push off another throwing axe, while the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are finished off by the Sons of Goros and other Centaurs. On the other side, another Wild Rider is holding valiantly, trying to kill at least one of these 3 Centaurs before going out. But it's looking tough for them. Now the Ancient Tree Man, his Firebark Elders, and War Dancers have formed a little conglomerate to try and deal with Torox. Torox does not have fire resistance, so actually the fire damage of the Firebark Elders isn't mitigated at all. So he's taking some decent damage in there, but the Centaur is still coming in, still rolling over the backline. These Deepwood Scouts just haven't had a moment to breathe or fire all game, really. War Dancers are performing quite well as far as things go. Like, I mean, what do we start with, like 3 of them? There's still 2 left. They're still chopping stuff away. I think we started with 3. Might have just started 2, and both are still present. They're clearing out a bunch of Ungors, and even now, they are getting onto some Centaurs and just really being a good sticking power. Their lack of armor doesn't matter too much versus the Beastmen, it feels like, and they do have physical resist, while the Beastmen struggle with magic damage. They don't have a ton. Nice. Nice War Dancers. Go. Go! You love to see them. What up, Tiago? Only Kislev is a worse matchup for the Wood Elves. I don't see this Wood Elf build winning. I love the Wood Elves, but I'm still rooting for Azel. You're wrong. Oh, okay. Anyway. Ancient Tree Man trying to fight Torox. Torox is down to half HP. The Ancient Tree Man does still have a lot of healing left to give, as is his birthright. But the Wood Elves are running out of steam. Deepwood Scouts getting chased off by Centaurs on the far side. I see 1 Wild Rider maybe returning to this fight, but they're already so wounded. And that's going to be a big Traderkin trying to hit pretty much all of the Wood Elf army that is left. An Overcast Traderkin hits all 3 infantry units, the Firebark Elders and the Ancient Tree Man here. As a rear charge from the Centaurs is going to finish off those War Dancers, rout them off, and without the War Dancers support, the Dryads also falter in their courage and leave. Now throwing axes are free to just sit here and chuck at the Ancient Tree Man while Torox works him down, and that is going to trigger army losses as one last valiant Earthblood erupts out of the Tree Man. It's not enough. It's not enough, you big tree bastard. Alright. Torox, 850 value. Didn't have too much to do, he just kind of ran into the back line, disrupted stuff, then stood around and swung at Ancient Tree Man and Firebark Elders for like 45 minutes straight. Traderkin Caster did fantastically. Throwing axes did okay. Basic Centaurs, mixed value overall, but paying for themselves. Sons of Goros did fine. And the Ungor Spearmen actually did a good ways towards paying for themselves as well. Nice. For Charks, Ancient Tree Man was a nice centerpiece, good source of terror and healing. The Wild Riders, decent value across the board, but we needed more than decent out of them. The Deepwood Scouts actually also did quite well value-wise. War Dancers down in the dumps for value. Dryads did okay, and the Firebark Elders didn't get close to paying for themselves, but they never really do. They're more of a support piece. Who would have known trees were helpless against massive amounts of bovine with axes? It is rather suspect. It is. It's true. It's true. Alright. So I think I brought you with me. I did. To the fellowship. The Wood Elves are out of the faction war. And now we get to see the Hummus Boy. The Hummus Boy no versus the Green One. The Green One. Both of these factions have a second shot. We have Strat Game and Swarv playing these 2 factions on the other side. So whoever loses here, their faction's not quite out just yet. It's me, the Hummus Boy. The boy of hummus. Oh boy. Okay, let's settle in. Oh, open up. You think my tea is drinkable yet? Ooh, maybe. The cup isn't scalding, huh? So, this build took me off guard quite a bit. Ah. Ah. Isn't Cygor Summon also decent? I think it's trash, but GS would probably disagree. All right. So my enemy troop count was a lot lower than I expected. That wasn't good. We have a Manticore, Throg, a Deathcaster, Cold Voider, Norscan Ice Wolves, and then 4 Skin Wolves and more Ice Wolves. That's really the whole build. Oh, and there's the Beast of Tashnar behind me. Nope, just regular Norscan Warhound. Another Norscan Warhound. Another Norscan Warhound. So dogs, Skin Wolves, single entities is all this is. It's just fast, cheap units or units that have regen. Yeah. For the Skaven build, it was built for more of a traditional Norscan style. We have a frontline mixed with Plague Monks and Warp Fire Throwers. We do have 2 Skaven Slave Slingers, 1 Deathglow Bombardier, because I honestly forgot that Norsca had Fate of Buna for a second. And I was like, these would be good for like killing Skin Wolves and stuff in fights. That'll be pretty neat. Oh my gosh. And then, I actually don't remember, because we played this 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? I don't actually remember if he Fate of Buna's those guys, but I remember as soon as I started this game, I was like, oh fuck. Anyway. Packmaster to run around and provide cheap terror to dive into Skinwolf fights when they're low on leadership and just terror out them off. Also heals up my Rat Ogres, gives the dogs some courage, especially with Shock Collar. Really can make dogs do quite well. Bunch of Skaven Slaves around, and then Skrulkin and Assassin. Yeah, it's good stuff. So my slings are now starting to poke Throg a little bit, who just wanders in here. Or he is very sneaky. That could be very sneaky. So dogs and Skin Wolves commit to a fight, and when this was happening, I was like, okay, all right. We could take this fight. So my purple globes are coming over. Anything that is going to get caught in the range is going to regret it fiercely, and the Frostworm is taking a little bit of poke on the far side. Here comes the Fate of Buna. Yep, god damn it. Anyway, Fate of Buna before my globes can even throw. They do get off 1 volley on fleeing targets. They get some decent damage down, but it looks like my Assassin, Packmaster, and Rat Ogres are going to try and get a nice snipe here on the Manticore and Throg and at least make them pay for it. But goodbye, my precious little globes. It was fun that an undodgeable 20-ish gold spell literally just killed you outright. Fucking hate that spell. Hate that spell. It's hot garbage. Anyway, Green One's having trouble committing with his dogs because of the Warp Fire Throwers. He really can't get in, because if they get like 1 nice volley off onto them, the damage plus the leadership debuff will actually just rout the dogs. So he's having difficulties doing anything. So we both kind of handshake this like blob fight for a second, where I'm fine with my Packmaster, some Plague Monks, Rat Ogres and stuff moving in, and Green One's fine with just letting that happen. Warp Fire Throwers get kind of an awkward angled shot, but their backup Warp Fire Throwers are also hitting the dogs. So dogs taking a good amount of damage. They are going to run away now. Down to half HP from that little trade, so things went well for me over there. Meanwhile, the blob fight, mixed results. Throg is taking a lot of damage. The rest of his stuff is big chillin' for right now. I still have support now coming over, a little delayed on that front. They should have been here a lot quicker. So that is a whoopsie from the Skaven player, whoever that fucking trash monster is. But Norscan Ice Wolves are terror routing off. Throg's having a very, very bad time in this fight. The only thing of mine that's taking a lot of damage is the Packmaster, which can heal. So we're okay with this so far. Throw Bless with Filth, give everybody around here poison. Again, less Skaven units have poison than you would expect, like Plague Monks don't. So I frequently do enjoy taking poison with them. Some Rat Ogres are out on the fight. I think they overextended a bit, fighting Skin Wolves and Manticores. Probably was busy doing this or whatever, but those are definitely out of position. Start to pull them back now, realizing that is a big whoopsie. We have Plague Monks and Warp Fire Throwers trying to offer them a little bit of support on their way out. The Warp Fire Throwers do some decent friendly fire damage against my Plague Monks. Oops. Norsca opts out of the blob fight. They want nothing to do with it. Skaven are up on the balance of power. Slingers are moving to punish the Cold Voider as more Rat Ogres surround him, and the Cold Voider has dove onto my Warp Fire Throwers. And yeah. Slingers are doing their best. Packmaster plus some buffed up dogs. Terror routing off the Skin Wolves as we wanted. Now we're trying to get some damage on them as they run away and they don't fight back. But a countercharge from Green One's Ice Wolves do make my life a little bit harder. I have Plague Monk support nearby, and that's going okay. This blob fight's also going well for me as Rat Ogres pound the shit out of these dogs, and the Frostworm taking very little damage in return and routing off those guys. So that is good. Things are going all right for the Skaven overall. They're feeling solid. Another Spirit Leech onto Skrulk. Frostworm is now deciding to opt out of this fight. But we've been doing good. Skinwolves getting worked down slowly but surely. Manticore's also getting lower. And I give Blessed with Filth again to my little Plague Monks to slow down the retreat of these Skinwolves and give them a bit of a harder time. Alright. Skaven Slave Spears out and about. I do have some more Fire Throwers offering a little bit of support, just lowering the leadership of those Norscan Warhounds and keeping them at bay. Have a bit of an overextension. Some of my mobility elements are going out to try and rout these Skinwolves off, but they might get surrounded here. I do commit Skrulk and some Plague Monks to helping them out, but the rest of my formation just isn't in a position to help at all. They're too slow. They're too unwieldy. So my mobile element is mostly down to the Molder monsters and Skrulk. And I do need to try and reconjoin some forces. Warp Fire Throwers do try and hit Throg, but a nice Foe Seeker and turnaround dodge from Greenland, who's pretty on top of dodging my Warp Fire Throwers a lot of this game, but he did get put under pressure a lot. Terror Routs are coming in for Norsca on the far side. We have a Rampaging Manticore that is almost routed, more Skinwolves that have almost routed, and another Armored Skinwolf actually did Terror Rout, but it does manage to come back. So Skaven are trading okay over here. Skrulk's trying to rejoin the fight. Another Blessed with Filth goes down, lowering all of their vigor and such. Packmaster tries to take an opportunistic fight with Throg, but Fight or Die popped. He's going to make it a little tougher for me. The Assassin is joining in. I wonder if he has Assassin Trophy up or not. Skaven continue to bump and grind in this fight, and Warp Fire Throwers at last get a huge volley down onto the Cold Voider, doing actually a lot of damage, considering this unit is only like 550 gold. I do generally like to include at least one or two of them for some support. I have a Clan Rat summon that hasn't had attack orders. Whoops. So they're just standing there for a bit while Skrulk and the Assassin team up on the Cold Voider to try and get rid of it. Packmaster is chased off by Throg for now. Skinwolves, Armored Skinwolves getting poked by my little slingers, doing their best. We still have a full health Warp Fire Thrower out of here. And this Deathcaster is annoying me as my Rat Ogres try and rout off some dogs. Skaven still spread all over the map. That Manticore has hung on for far too long for my liking. Other Skinwolves running away from my Plague Monks and Rat Ogres, etc. Packmaster is successfully chased off though, so no more healing for my Hero Core. We're Fire Throwers with tons of ammo and no real issues. I am just going to harass the Cold Voider and get some free poke onto it, because why not? And we do finally rout off that stupid Manticore. And at last I can reconfigure my forces. Throg taking Warp Fire to the face as he charges in. Skinwolves also recharging other Warp Fire Throwers as I turn and try and shoot at him. Get a couple volleys off real quick, lowers their leadership down, a little bit of damage. And Throg is trying to distract them, but guard mode is a hell of a drug. So at this point, we're feeling okay. Cold Voider gets a big breath attack, though. Some friendly fire onto Throg, but it nukes down my Warp Fire Thrower at last. We have some Skaven Slave Spears trying to poke Throg down. Rat Ogres running after all these guys. And now we're getting to an awkward point in the game. Hey, Umbo, just drop and tell you that I hate you. Why do you stream? I don't have time to watch. I don't know. I guess I'm just a bad person. We still have 2 slings for some ranged pressure, a bunch of Skaven Slaves and Plague Monks. We do have 1 Rat Ogre left, an Assassin, and a half-health Skrulk. The enemy has an almost dead Manticore, a very almost dead Cold Voider. Throg's at half HP but regenning, and then he has 2 Skinwolves, 4 Skinwolves that are all still regenerating up, and dogs. Okay. Another Spirit Leech onto my Assassin. Cold Voider taking some more pokey pellets from far away. A little bit of fast forwarding. So, this is getting awkward because I'm using my slings as best I can to do damage to my opponent, but meanwhile I'm just getting Spirit Leech kited. And Norsca gets a full surround. They do some breath attacks, they do some fighting, Skinwolves charge in for a little bit. Throg is taking a bunch of damage from the slingers and from my Assassin. Another Spirit Leech onto Lord Skrulk. Slingers absolutely trying to kill the Cold Voider. Throg is taking a lot of damage, the Skinwolves commit at last. And I do get another big Rod of Corruption down, hitting everybody in this area. Dogs are going to rout off. The Cold Voider is just about dead. It's also going to rout. Manticore also routs and shatters. And we push them all back. Skinwolves also getting pushed back over here. The balance of power is very distinctly against the Skaven, as the Assassin is going to try and catch this little Deathcaster. And Skinwolves manage to get a rout on this side. They might commit into the fight. Yeah, it looks like they are just going to pile on to poor little Skrulk. Throg's almost heal capped. Skinwolves are almost heal capped. This Skinwolf's also almost heal capped. That Skinwolf in the corner is getting closer to its heal cap. Skrulk gets Spirit Leeched. Blessed with Filth comes out, but Skrulk routs, and that is going to be the end of that. Skrulk almost 2,000 value. Packmaster only about 700, though he was mostly supportive. Assassin paid for himself. 100 whole gold on the purple globes. 700 rat ogres, 700, and then less than that, so they did okay. Plague monks actually did well. Warp fire throwers did well. Dogs did well. Slingers did well. And Skaven slaves did fine. Human boy, it seems like a lot of your units did fine. How did you lose? Well, I had to fight 1.5 Norscas because of all their fucking regeneration. 1,300 on Throg, 2,700 on the Spirit Leech and Fate of Unicaster, 1,300 on the Cold Voider, 500 on the Manticore. Armored Skinwolves, not even that good of value, honestly. And the regular Skinwolves also not that good of value. Dogs, 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 dogs. Not a lot of great value there either. Okay. Okay. All right. I have a thing. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Hi, Hazel. Hi. Okay, I'm under attack by the dog. Hi, dog. I'm not calling for high elf nerfs. I do think they're strong, but it's fine. If healing gets nerfed, they're going to get kicked in the dick, though. Skaven. This is going to be controversial. Because I am a Skaven main, a lot of people are thinking, you know, a lot of mains like to whine about their factions. I try to be really fair about Skaven. I thought coming to this patch they were going to be like S tier because a lot of their counters got nerfed. But I'm going to put them in C tier, and here's my reasoning. You can disagree, that's fine. But my reasoning is Poison Globes did get nerfed. They're still actually pretty strong, but they did get nerfed. And the biggest problem for Skaven isn't what happened to them, it's what happened around them. Everybody started realizing how strong Death Magic is. So Fate of Buna just eliminates any expensive weapons teams you have, and the fear is gone. Like, people were so scared to take big single entities into Skaven because they were usually so good at killing it. But with Fate of Buna, you can just delete Giselle teams or Rattling Guns or something. And also, people realize Warp Lightning Cannons and Warp Lock Giselles coming into Game 3 don't do what they did in Game 2. So they're no threat. Literally, the only threat to a big thing is Rattling Guns. Hell Pit Abominations are terrible at dueling all of a sudden. Rat Ogres can't hold anything back that's, like, way larger than them. And Skaven Infantry can just be ignored. Plus how powerful healing is, you can usually just walk like Cal Harmon took a Dread Saurian build and just is Ruffle Stomps. Healing, Death Magic, and single entities are strong, and therefore Skaven are not a problem. Huh. I wonder where we could have seen... Oh my god! It's healing, single entities, and Death Magic! Holy shit! How could this opinion have been formed? No. Green One was actually... We played this game, and I had such a hard time not talking about it on stream because he's so well executed how to take Skaven down. Like, this was a beautiful game of how to beat Skaven almost in any context. Like, yes, it's Norsca, but you can take what he did here and apply it elsewhere. Fate of Buna, any tools of agency they have, like Giselles or Rattling Guns or Globes, then when they have no agency left, you can surround them. You can just start spamming Spirit Leeches on their lords, because their lords, anything besides the Gracier on a Bell is weak to Spirit Leech, and even the Gracier on the Bell doesn't like being Spirit Leeched over and over again. And then their formation doesn't matter, and you can dictate the pace of the game. Like, Green One could commit dogs to chasing things off, and while he was chasing things off, he just had all of his healing units walk away, stay outside of my range, almost heal capped all of his fucking Skinwolves, almost heal capped Throg, like, just constantly heal. Then the damage doesn't matter, just keep healing. Just keep healing. Chase off anything that routes, just keep healing. Oh, what's that? Something needs to be killed? Big single entity, run at it. But what about Rat Ogres? Rat Ogres don't fucking do anything to, like, the Cold Voider, to Stonehorns, to Dread Saurians. Like, they don't do anything. And it's kind of crazy. And, like, a lot of people have realized this. We saw Cal Harmon on recent streams running Dread Saurians through Skaven, no problem whatsoever. He even took some Stegodons that did so. Lenorm kicked my shit in with a Soul Grinder of Tzeentch and Kairos, beating my literal entire army. Here, the Green One beat me with the Cold Voider, Throg, just running at like whatever they wanted to get to. They walk at it. It doesn't matter. And then when they get it or they terror route it, they back off. Their dogs chase it and they can regen some more. Oh, it's so hard, man. It's so hard being a fucking Skaven right now. I hate it. I hate it. Anyway, like, but he played great. It was just like, once I realized a lot of top tier players are just like really, I don't want to say abusing because it sounds so negative, but they are just like tunneling in on death magic and healing versus Skaven. And all of a sudden I just like, there are certain people I can't win against. It's so fucking rough. All right, rant over. You're on the bracket with me? No. All right, I advanced green one. Spectacularly well played by him. It was actually just a really, really good game. He handled his units so well. It was real nice. Real nice. All right, onwards. Alea versus Black Knight. Demons of Chaos versus High Elves. This is actually an accident. I promise this is an accident. But Black Knight and Alea fought for the position in the faction war on High Elves versus Bretonnia. Alea was playing Bretonnia. But Alea got in on Demons of Chaos just to be an honorable get. And I accidentally matched them round one. It's like, here you go, Alea, fucking deal with that. Norsca just casually overtuned. Not really. It's more of just healing in general. It's healing in general, and death magic is too strong. Sorry. Wait, Skaven didn't win that? No, I just got out healed in death magic. Real quick, someone said something. Tiago, I think you need to try new tactics out. I have been. I took a Hell Pit Abomination into Tzeentch, and the Hell Pit Abomination lost in melee with a Soul Grinder. After the Soul Grinder ran out of ammo, and none of it was used on the Hell Pit, he still fucking lost. And I've been experimenting with Hell Pits more, but they just keep losing, and they're really slow and janky. So it's like, all right, Hell Pits suck. Brood Horrors are weak to fire, and everything in this game has fire right now. So the single entity monsters of this Skaven can't hold off other things. Your only monstrous infantry is Rat Ogres, which we've established can't hold off other things. All of your ranged tactics can be killed by Fate of Buna, and that really just leaves like 360 Gutter Runners, which Alfredino tried versus Cal Harmon, and he just lost to the Dreadsaurian build because, of course, Gutter Runners can't out DPS a Salon healing a Dreadsaurian. So it's like there's more stuff to try, and I am trying it, but just it's a tough time to be Skaven if your opponent just spams single entities, death magic, and healing. It is rough. It's not unwinnable, but it is rough. What up, Caradoc? Just play more Eshni builds. Alfredino tried and he got beaten. And I'm not better than Alfredino. If he can't do it, how the fuck am I supposed to do it? Mutant Rat Ogres, though? No, those are trash. I actually did try those. They're trash. They're mega trash. They still have that animation where they can go flying at their opponent, but it is like 20% chance they actually hit their opponent, so they waste their time. It's just terrible. They're also really squishy with no healing. Death magic is a meme in the worst of ways. It's ubiquitous, easy to use, and grossly overpowered. All right, we're gonna focus on this game now. We're gonna focus on this game. I just wanted to talk about like how, yeah, I got distracted by that because of how well Green One executed all the weaknesses to Skaven, and I thought it was an instructional thing for like, if you are struggling with Skaven, go watch that game again. Like, he did everything to deal with Skaven very, very well, and it was just great. It was great execution, and I thought it deserved to be pointed out because he did great. All right. Demons of Chaos, led by Alea Yacta Est. We have a Skull Cannon, Red Ogre, Prince of Slaughter, then a Plague Ridden of Nurgle with just Fleshy Abundance, the healing spell. We have a Soul Grinder of Nurgle for some artillery pressure. Blue Horrors, 4 of them, 2 Nurglings, 2 Plague Toads of Nurgle, and 2 Screamers. On the other side, for Black Knights, High Elves, we do have Imric, 2 War Lions of Krace. Now, RTK Stingers has been taking a lot of these little guys recently. He won was it the new player tournament or the RTK tournament? I don't remember, but he won a tournament on this stream recently, using War Lions in the final versus Empire, and I have been seeing them getting dotted throughout. I don't think they're a great unit, but they are nice little armor-piercing war beasts, so maybe they're coming back into the fold, or maybe a lot of High Elf players are just having fun, memeing all at the same time using them. I don't know, but we have been seeing a lot of War Lions. 2 Dragon Princes. I know Black Knight loves them, then a bunch of Spearmen, Archers, and a Mage of Life to heal up Imric. Cool. In the sky, Imric's having a bad fucking time. He tried to fight Red Ogre. Looks like he traded about even, a little negative, and then the Plague Ridden got some free shots on him. And now Imric is also trying to fight Red Ogre, but he's just flying in place. I don't think he has attack orders. I think he's trying to move past him, but he's currently just getting caught on Red Ogre. There we go. Now he can move past him. As a nasty Soul Grinder shot takes a ton of damage off the Dragon Princes, and things have gotten chaotic very suddenly. The High Elves are waddling out to try and deal with all these blue horrors. It looks like the Demons of Chaos are running away, and Imric might be in over his head. Half HP as Red Ogre dives in behind him, and this Plague Ridden of Nurgle is getting some good damage down. Screamers are nearby, but they're busy dealing with the War Lions, who are tearing apart the Plague Toads and the Beasts of Nurgle, the Nurglings, that one. Not Beasts of Nurgle, plural. That'd be dumb. Plague Toads do fade away, though. The weakness of the Demons of Chaos is if they get below a certain threshold of health, they just will almost automatically crumble away entirely. Soul Grinder continuing to fire at the Dragon Princes and doing really, really good damage. That Soul Grinder is having a fucking whale of a time. 2,000 value in 3 minutes. Oof. The Skull Cannon, too, is really punishing them. And the Demons of Chaos are up on the balance of power right now. Skull Cannon looks like she's trying to snipe the Life Mage. It's not going their way, though. The High Elf front line, doing all right for now. It's holding, but Imric's been having a bad time. Screamers are trying to get through the Dragon Princes to get to him. Red Ogre is also going to get a little bit of punishment on the big Dragon Boy, who will probably fall back for a regrowth, though I think these Dragon Princes already got a regrowth, so we'll see how much health they really have left. Soul Grinder of Nurgle stuck in a fight with the Dragon Princes. There's really no mobile support for him right now. I wonder what they'll do about such things. Illyrian Reaver is trying to kill blue horrors, but their melee stats aren't enough to kill an entire unit all on their own with Screamers hitting them on the sides. This is probably going to be a sacrificial Illyrian Reaver. Blue horrors pouring in fire onto Spearmen, who get an Earthblood along with Imric. And I'm scared for this little Plague Ridden that's been following Imric around. He's been getting some good pokes in, he's been getting his shots, but he doesn't want to stay in there for too long. And the War Lions of Krace doing some good damage to the Skull Cannon, who's now shooting bouts of fire over the face of the Fire Mage. And the distance to Soul Grinder getting dragged down by the Dragon Princes, plus Archer support. Barely hanging on right now. I wonder if he can get a Fleshy Abundance from the Plague Ridden of Nurgle. It doesn't look like it, as that Demonic Instability Crumbling is just going to take him. And a Bolt of Change. Tier 2 army ability of Tzeentch launching for the Demons of Chaos, doing really good damage to those Dragon Princes and tear outs them off. The Soul Grinder is retreating with Fleshy Abundance on him. He might be able to rally. And he does. That is a huge win for Olea Yachta. Very nice. All three archers of the High Elves continuing to fire. But oh no, what could not be a big win for the Demons of Chaos is their caster getting completely sniped out. He's surrounded in Dragon Princes, War Lions, Imric. He does manage to find a little way out. Flying units did get some buffs to their mass, so that gets him to safety. All right, but Red Ogre takes his place in the grinding pit. We'll see if he actually gets killed off or if he just stays and fights. He pops Deathbringer with 773 weapon strength. He's ready to just swing at anybody around him as the Skull Cannon rolls back as a chariot to deal with those archers. And the Dragon Princes, after their terror out, have come back to the fight to finish the job that they started. And they will take down that Soul Grinder with some help from the archers still. On the backfield, the Screamers took out the Illyrian Reavers, but it looks like the Illyrian Reavers actually did finish off the Blue Horrors, or the Blue Horrors just passed them while we weren't looking. Bounce power is still slightly in favor of the Demons of Chaos like it has been this whole game, but War Lions are finishing off the Skull Cannon. The Soul Grinder is gone, and this happens to Demons of Chaos all the time. Their battlefield is just running out of troops. That Demonic Instability Crumbling really hurts their capacity to stay on the battlefield and do anything. Big regrowth on Imric is probably going to tick that bounce power back to the side of the High Elves as it continues to heal him up. The Plague Ridden of Nurgle is trying to get away, but Imric is right on its ass, and Red Ogre can't kill all these things by himself. It's just not going to happen. Red Ogre goes for Imric yet again. Screamers diving down behind him as Red Ogre is also. This is a big snipe attempt onto the Lord of the High Elves. Plague Ridden of Nurgle is going to heal itself up with the Fleshy Abundance, but the Skull Cannon in the backfield is gone. The two Blue Horrors that are in this middle fight, both wavering on leadership. They might be gone soon. And Red Ogre continues to try and drag down Imric. But he can't do it. He just can't do it. The boy is too meaty. He's got too much healing. Lord of Dragons on Red Ogre is making his melee stats quite pitiful. Screamers are dipping out of the main fight to come help Ogre out, who's now surrounded by Dragon Princes, getting shot by archers and all those things. Nurgling's putting on a valiant attempt to push off these archers. It looks like the Plague Ridden of Nurgle might also get in there and just try and keep these archers at bay for now. Blue Horrors fading away in the middle. Imric getting away with another Earthblood onto him. There's just so much healing. There's so much healing! Screamers and the Plague-Ridden sitting in spears now, getting shot by archers, not having a good time, and Red Ogre once again dives onto Imric. Red Ogre doesn't give a fuck. I hope someone will put a stable mod list. Oh, SFO? Yeah, I don't know anything about SFO. Alright, Red Ogre continues to fight, gets another big hit onto Imric. How much? He's only got 2,000 value-ish. I kind of thought it would be a lot more. As he continues to swing at fucking Imric, but the balance of power is significantly against the Demons of Chaos now. The Plague-Ridden of Nurgle is getting real low. Red Ogre is also getting quite low. Fleshy Abundance is trying to heal him up at the moment, but there's just no support. There's too many High Elves. Damn. At this point is unfortunately GG, as the Plague-Ridden is getting shot by arrows on all sides. Red Ogre just can't hold on any longer, and his demonic instability crumbling starts. So does everybody's, and army losses will hit. Columbia's Prime, Stormvermin Halberds with Poison Gutter Runners and Slave Spear support. Maybe. The problem is you can just ignore a Stormvermin, you can walk through them. And your Stormvermin can just get Fate of Beanid. I thought you could combine Triads and Rat Ogres. They can't stop anything. Like, Stonehorns just walk through them. Lamau global leadership by not deploying Lord. Oh, yeah. Skaven are doing well in Dom, but that's a very different... That's a very different situation. You know? Alright. I caught up with most of the chat. Red Ogre, 2,200 value in the end. He did pretty well, all things considered. Skull Cannon struggled to get its value back. Nurglings and the Plague Frogs did very little. Blue Horrors did okay. Soul Grinder, Red Ogre did a lot. I'm kind of surprised the Plague Ridden didn't get more value, but he almost got 1,000, so I guess that's something. I thought he was doing good work on Imric. Imric, 2,300 for himself. Dragon Princess, 600 and 2,300. I think these are the ones that were chasing down that Soul Grinder all game. War Lions did quite well, I think. I don't remember what their base cost is, so I think they just about paid for themselves, but they did okay. They dragged down the Skull Cannon, they dragged down Beasts of Nurgle, yeah, I think that's mostly what they were doing. They were just mass bodies. Lifecaster did fantastically, even though their value wasn't going to show it. Spears, not a lot of value. They just hung around, and archers did super good, and the demons, as most archers do. Red Ogre's heal cap was pretty close, too. Yeah. Yeah. The meta does, in fact, have a lot of healing in it. Healing might be strong, guys. I don't know if anybody has told you this previous to patch 3.0. This is sarcasm. Everyone's been screaming it. Healing might be too strong, CA. For the love of God, nerf it. Anyway, stop with all the healing. Okie dokie. Next up, Good Doctors and Hanadins. Good Doctor and Hanadins. Where are you, Good Doctor and Hanadins? Ah, there it is. Oh my God, his fucking name. I love his name. Good Doctor, if you're out there, I love how your name is Chaz Michaels. Chaz Michaels. I love that. That's so funny. Thank you for organizing the event. War Lions cost $8.25 and they did great. Spirit of the Gorg with €5. Thanks for organizing this event. Love watching Faction Wars. Buy some Ice Cathayan cheese, but don't share with the Deathmaster. Hell yeah, dude. Also, I need to pause this for a second. I need to pause this for a second. Okay, I think I mentioned this, but I have not watched any of these replays. All I know is I do know who wins because I had to organize the event all the way through. I know who wins, but I haven't watched any of these replays. Do we get fucking Scarbrand versus a Rogue Idol, baby? Let's go! And Grimgar! This is my new favorite build! Oh, the Good Doctor and Hanadins! My heroes! Bringing out the spice, bringing out the sauce! Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so happy. All right. We have Marauders of Khorne, some with dual weapons, some just regular. We have 4 Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, 2 Fleshhounds, 3 Fleshhounds? 2 Fleshhounds, 1 Chaos Warhound. Then we have the Heralds of Khorne's Fury, Blood Crusher ROR, and Skarbrand, my favorite Khorne Lord. Maybe my favorite non-Skaven Lord, thematically and playing with him. I love Skarbrand. I think he is super fun. I laugh every time I play with him. I have such a good time. Is he very good? Depends heavily on the matchup. In his niche matchups, he is good, but across the board, I would like just yes or no question, is Skarbrand good? I would say no. I would say no, but he has his niche matchups. Is this one of them? I would also say no, but Hanadins might know something different. I would generally consider Hanadins to be a better player than myself, so I'll trust him. On the other side, for the good doctor, we have a front line of Orc Boys, some Orc Auror Boys, 2 Black Orcs, one of which is the Crimson Killers, Black Orc ROR. We have Grimgor Ironhide himself on a dark as fuck map for no reason. I hate that, like, they were trying to be cool, and I like that CA added the maps have various times of day and weather patterns. Like, you can pick a map, and if you play it 3 times, you get 3 different results, but also it can make casting it really hard, because it's like, I didn't want a pitch black map. Anyway, Broken Tusk mobs, Boarboy Biggins. We do have a Deathcaster, River Troll Hag with Fate of Una and Spirit Leech, a single Rogue Idol, the Hammer of Gork, Rock Lava, and I think I mentioned Grimgor, but Grimgor. Okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. Khorne is piling in now. Their dogs are already trying to stop the Hammer of Gork from firing, and their skirmish cab also might opt into the same fate. The Rogue Idol needs to get a little more active. He needs to get out there and do some good work, while Grimgor and the Broken Tusk mobs try and hold back the front line. Fate of Buna onto the Heralds of Khorne's Furies takes about half HP off of that hyper elite unit, and the Rogue Idol makes the dogs and horses run away, though they did get their objective of the Hammer of Gork. Bounce power is actually already in the favor of the Greenskins, which is interesting. We have some Orc Auror Boys being routed off as Hanadin's mobility advantage is utilized to its fullest. The Crimson Killers piling into these the little Marauders, trying to protect the Orc Auror Boys, but a big breath attack from Skarbrand says, protect this, bitch. Get some good work done. Rampage has been cast on all of these units, so I imagine the Boarboy Biggins will very soon rampage. There it is, and they are stuck in that fight now, as throwing axes are chucked into them. Skarbrand has no interest in fighting Grimgor, especially not while your next is popped, so his melee stats are reduced, and a Waz going down for the Greenskins. Bounce power is about back to the middle now, as slowly but surely more things are going wrong for the Greenskins. All of their ranged assets have been taken offline, and now Skirmish Cav are running a bit free. Ooh, one Orc Auror Boy did manage to separate himself from the fight and is getting good shots onto the Fleshhounds of Khorne, doing really good damage to them, trying to lower their leadership enough to get that demonic stability crumbling. Rogue Idol is powering through any Marauders he can get his filthy hands on. But the Greenskins are going to have a long-standing issue with the mobility advantage of Khorne. These throwing axes are going to be under very little threat, so they will use all of their ammo, and that's going to whittle down on Greenskins over time. Quick Spirit Leech onto Skarbrand, deciding to get some free value onto him while they can. The Crimson Killers and the Rogue Idol are still killing stuff, but another breath attack from Skarbrand rolls down the line, finishes off those Orc Boys, but barely touches the Crimson Killers. Dude, I hate Slaughtering Carnage. I don't know why people take it. It's only 7% charged after 2 very, very good breath attacks. Skarbrand and Grimgor at last get to fight, and Grimgor wins round 1. That was not close. Skarbrand got 1 hit, Grimgor got like 2, and Skarbrand had to run away, and he didn't even pop your next yet. It was still probably on cooldown. So the Greenskins are rallying around a very elite infantry corps, Grimgor and the Rogue Idol, while Khorne is just picking off anything that is outside of that cluster. It's going quite well for them. In fact, the River Troll Hag is probably doomed at this point. Black Orcs and Orc Boys all leaving. Skarbrand even comes over and he says, "Bruh!" And he misses because he knocks her over, because that's a thing. That's a thing you can do. You can knock her over instead of dealing damage, which is weird. But whatever. Skarbrand's still going to swing at her in a second. And he misses. I'm going to look away because this is embarrassing now. And he misses. Yeah, he knocks her over again. There we go. He finally got a hit in and immediately terror-outed her. That's about what we were expecting. Meanwhile, the Crimson Killers and the Rogue Idol are getting firebombed at the moment. Owie. Ooey, owie. You could have picked a Dowie. The big stomps, the big axes. There's just not much this big angry boy can do against such a reckless skirmish cav. Scarbrand continues to hunt down the River Troll Hag, make sure there'll be no more Fate Abunas, no more Spirit Leeches or anything of the like. And I do think we will just see the Horsemen pick apart the last armored Greenskins. Another breath attack, this one onto Grimgor. And throughout this entire game, Scarbrand got 62 kills, and he has charged 12% of that passive. I hate that passive. Don't take it. I hate it. And it ends. 1,200 on Scarbrand. 1,200 on the Blood Crushers. Fleshhounds did okay. Skirmish Cav, pretty nice value considering they still had a ton of ammo left to give and had a lot of health. And Marauders did all right. For the good doctor / Chaz Michael Michaels, Grimgor 400. This is usually the fate of Grimgor. Some people around my Discord have actually been Grimgor stands, and they're advocating for his use. My problem with Grimgor is he usually ends the game at full health and getting army lost. I just have a hard time like finding the fight with Grimgor. He kind of has a Queek problem. He's better than Queek, don't get me wrong, but Queek's problem is like I'm a stat stick that can't catch anything, so my target has to opt into fighting me and then stay in the fight with me after opting into that fight. Okay, I mean, cool, but no one's gonna do that. River Troll Hag did well. Crimson Killers and the other Black Orcs struggled to get their value back, but they were fighting fine in the melee. The main problem was just the mobility advantage ran them down. Orc Boys did honestly all right considering their price point. Archers were okay. Rogue Idol only 170 value. Oof, that is a big money sink that did not pay off. And the Rock Lobber and Orc Boy Biggins also got dragged down. I love the builds though. They were very entertaining. The Rogue Idol is good if your opponent has to fight you, but almost every faction actually has some form of range pressure, and then he just gets whittled down by that. So, wait, shit, that's not true. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was talking about the Greenskins. My brain was like, Greenskins. Corner advances. Next up, Bretonnia versus Vampire Counts. And where was that replay I was supposed to delete? There we go. Bretonnia versus Vampire Counts. This will get a lot easier the more replays I get to delete, but for now we're just wading through a million replays. There it is. RTK's Menacing Platypus versus Son of the Mountains, Dr. Jellyfish. Like this Chaos Dwarf Lord. Charger and unit kills have come baked into the unit. Oh, yeah. Chiggy diggy. I agree. I'm fine with that mechanic if you don't have to pay for it, but when you have to pay for it, then I'm like, okay, don't, because it's never going to charge in time. It's definitely built for campaign. Which, like, campaign can get those kills super easily. Okay, what are we dealing with here? Dr. Jellyfish's Vampire Counts. We do have the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. With his usual spells. Ooh, plus Wind of Death. Okay, interesting. Don't know why you have Wind of Death versus Bretonnia, but more power to you, I guess. Invocation Hex, Zombie Summon aside from that, and then all of his stuff to give him a crap ton of weapon strength. Anybody else see that weird fidgeting thing right next to him? Or am I the only one that sees that? Right there. I'm circling with my mouse. That's fucking strange. Anyway, distraction aside, zombies, skeleton warriors, an awful lot of infantry. Holy crap, that's a lot of infantry for the Counts. Skeleton warriors, skeleton spearmen, zombies across the front line. So much infantry. And then 3 Cav, 2 Black Knights with Lances and Barding, and 1 Blood Knight, plus a White King on foot with Scab Scrat. That is a lot of infantry. Jesus Christ. Okay. On the side of Platypus, we have a Grail Guardian, a Knights of the Realm, another Grail Guardian. So 3 Cav overall, 2 Grail Guardians, which were recently buffed and have been doing great work for Bretonnia. Some Peasant Mobs, recently buffed Battle Pilgrims, love those guys. Some Spearmen at Arms, a whole bunch of Archers. The Fey Enchantress on horseback with Dwellers Below and Earthblood. Then we have a Paladin, Henry Le Massif, to guard her. That is a lot of infantry from the Counts. Holy shit. That's so many infantry. I mean, I guess if the Fae survives the Blood Dragon, if they can kill the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, then the Fae can just kill the entire army on their own. Oh, there's also a single Vargeist. Hello, single Vargeist. I don't know where you were hiding, but I missed you. Hello. Welcome. Okay. Let's see if the Blood Dragon Lord can carry as the Grail Knights continue cycle charging the zombies, just trying to get some free little bit of damage while they wait for the fight to begin in earnest. Blood Knights try to countercharge. They do get caught up in the Fey Enchantress's Mortis Engine. Does she throw down an early Dwellers Below? Or does she think that they are going to dodge as soon as she does that, so not bother with it. For now, only time will tell as Black Knights try to get rear charge on the Grail Guardians. They are cut off by Henry Le Massif and the Paladin. There's a Dwellers Below over here that catches some infantry, but doesn't opt to run on the Blood Knights. There is no vortex capacity for it, though, so the Blood Knights could just walk out of it as soon as you start casting, so maybe not the worst decision in the world. I don't think killing a skeleton and a zombie is worth it, but that could just be me. Blood Dragon Lord lost some micro. Dr. Jellyfish now moving him, but he did take like 2 or 3 free volleys from those peasant horsemen, so he's not peasant archers, so he's not going to want that. And the Blood Dragon Lord is opting in now with his big buffs cast. He has 500 weapon strength. Where are the rest of us? There he goes. 1k weapon strength, chunks a Paladin, almost down to half HP with 1 hit. Swings again, but it looks like he hit some peasant spearmen at that point, so he is getting a little distracted, though the terror rout's already coming in. Another big shot onto the Paladin. He is straight up going to snipe this hero. Paladin already terror routing. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord trying to swing at him another time, but looks like he got distracted again by the stuff around him. Meanwhile, Grail Guardians being held off by the Black Knights with lances and barding, so the Blood Dragon Lord is mostly safe right now. And his weapon strength is starting to fall as some of his abilities are wearing off, so he is going to opt out of here for now. No, he just dives back on the Paladin and actually gets another big chunk off of him before the Fae gets more healing. This is mostly the fight that matters as Henry is chunking down the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. He is most of what we care about. Looking around, the Vargeist are chasing off some peasants, and the front line of Bretonnia is getting overrun by the mass amount of zombies and skeletons. You can see if I highlight here all of the red in the backfield, but the high value asset pieces for Bretonnia are doing okay. And the Blood Dragon Lord not doing so great, though as he gets healed, the bounce power probably shifts significantly when he heals up, so that'll be good. So far, the Count's not in a terrible situation. I think they also have all 3 of their breath attacks, right? Yeah, all 3 of their breath attacks need to go onto the Grail Guardians, sorry. How are those Grail Guardians doing? Ooh, very good. All 3 of the Knights are actually faring quite well. Blood Dragon Lord gets the outside of the blob, and then he fights some spearmen for a bit. I think he was aiming for Henry, but lost his orders onto him. Which is, like, that's a good example of why you usually want to fight in chaff if you can, is stuff like that. Like, we saw how the Blood Dragon does versus a Paladin 1v1, but when there's all those things to distract him, once in a while, unless you are just sitting on the Blood Dragon constantly clicking on who you want to hit, click, 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 they'll occasionally get distracted by the chaff around them. So, just a good little bit of chaff there. There could be a huge breath attack right here. Does he see it? He's lining up. There it is. And it goes down the pike, hits those Grail Guardians, doing really nasty damage to such an elite unit. Great breath attack there. But a Chalice of Potions follow-up is going to hit the Skeleton Warriors. Does it go into friendly fire territory? Only a little bit, so actually pretty all right. And the Blood Dragon Lord with all of his buffs up yet again. Not quite all of them, actually. He's missing one, otherwise he goes over 1k. Still getting great shots onto Henry Le Massif. And the Paladin actually came back. I didn't notice that, but Henry's also quite down. You can see this Blood Dragon Lord, why he is so meta and so fearsome. It's just, he can try to carry entire games by himself, and it looks like that's what Dr. Jellyfish's build was around. Very few agency pieces, but just enough chaff to buy the Blood Dragon Lord time to cycle charge, do whatever he wants, and Henry is just dead. He's just dead. Good God. Now, unfortunately, Dr. Jellyfish doesn't have a corpse cart, so these Cav have nowhere to retreat to that would give them buffs or healing for free. And the Blood Dragon Lord, his healing cap's in sight, and he opts into fighting this Paladin instead of running away. Now, all of the support for the Paladin is gone, so he'll probably die in this next attack here, to be honest. Quick little terror route for him. Blood Dragon Lord misses his next charge. That is a little unfortunate. Bretonnia is pulling ahead on the balance of power, as the chaff of the Vampire Counts is just getting worked down, like without a corpse cart to heal them up or to give them any meaningful stats whatsoever. The Vampire Counts chaff is pretty bad. Like, it's cheap. It's supposed to be bad, but it is bad. And the Bretonnians have held it off. Some really effective cycle charging from the Cav, putting in really good work. The Archers doing well, the Grail Reliques holding forever, and the Battle Pilgrims scoring up hundreds of kills apiece is pretty wild. So, Bretonnia withstood the storm, and now the last vestiges of a Vampire Count's infantry are just trying to chase things off the map. So are the Vargeist. The Vargeist have been low-key doing good work as just kind of flying dog units in the background. Quick Earthblood for the Fey Enchantress as their Grail Guardians route. The other Grail Guardians are healthy and fine, but actually, if they don't move right now, as soon as that Blood Dragon Lord gets in the sky, he's going to turn around Breath Attack him for sure. And that could be huge in this game. He's up in the sky. Does he turn, or does he get distracted by that Paladin that's been mocking him all game? There's a Breath Attack. Does it aim for the center? No, that's not Dr. Jellyfish's fault. He didn't do anything wrong, but it didn't aim for the center of the blob. It aimed for one of the sides. Still got decent damage, but not as much as you would like. Now, Blood Dragon Lord This is not over by any means. Blood Dragon Lord can easily, like, 3-shot the Fae if he can get all of his buffs up and charge in on it. It looks like for now he is going for the Paladin, just trying to get one more hit onto that guy and take him out. He misses the initial charge. The follow-up attack is targeted onto the Battle Pilgrims. Again, that chaff rearing its ugly head. Paladin's down to 32 HP. He is just dead. And the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord needs to get out of here. He's getting rear charged by Grail Guardians, and he is surrounded by spears, Battle Pilgrims, all this stuff. More Grail Guardians are opting in, and he is going to heal and get out. So what is left? We have some Blood Knights that are almost heal capped, some Black Knights that are almost heal capped, a bunch of zombies and skeletons that White King is opting into the fight, and he has a ton of HP. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord has 1 breath attack left, which there's a nice juicy blob here, though. Ooh, it's a tough choice between this blob and take out all of these healthy infantry, or the Grail Guardians, the bane of your existence, though they are so low on HP that they probably won't get hit by too much of the breath attack. And he does go for the infantry blob. I think it is a respectable choice. He really chunks them down. Does he opt in? I know his items are off cooldown. I wonder if he just jumps on the Fey Enchantress. Looks like no, he is going to go for these Grail Guardians that are attacking his White King. Just wants to try and pick them off before there's more healing, but the other Grail Guardians are right there, and they're just going to turn on him. And now this might get tricky. Dragon Lords are not faster than cavalry on the ground, so if the Grail Guardians just keep attacking him, he can't get into the sky, and he can't opt into a fight that he wants. But the Vargheists are coming. Ooh, if the Vargheists opt in onto the Grail Knights and get a good charge off, that would be brutal. And the Blood Dragon Lord is free. If he throws a Helm of Discord on this blob and has everybody attack those Grail Guardians or the Fey Enchantress, he could actually carry this entire game, and he's going in. There's the Helm of Discord. He opts in. He has all of his buffs popped. 1k weapon strength, and the Fey Enchantress runs away. She gets the other side of the blob, but he is after her. He is chasing, but again, he gets distracted by these little infantry. He wastes precious attacks, which is not all Dr. Jellyfish's fault. It's just like chaff stuff, but he wastes precious attacks on them. The Fey Enchantress is leading him on a merry chase. He can't pin her down. He doesn't have the mass. All of these infantry are hers, so she has a much easier time getting through them than him. He can't keep her where he wants to, but a big charge attack. He misses his charge attack. That was your moment, Blood Dragon Lord. He misses, and now the Fey Enchantress is Mortis Engine draining everything down. The Grail Guardians are opting back in. The Vargheists are getting a little low, and the Skeleton Warriors and Zombies are fading away. In the distance, there's no help coming for the poor Vampire Counts as the Blood Dragon continues to try to put this on his back, but he just walks at the Fey Enchantress. He spins around with her, but he just won't attack. He just won't swing, and his giant weapon strength buffs all wear off. He is just left as a lonely little Blood Dragon Lord now. The Fey Enchantress even tries to fight him, tries to keep him on the ground for those Grail Guardians to deal with him, but she doesn't quite get that for herself, unfortunately. The Blood Dragon Lord is opting back in now. He's diving in. He throws down a zombie summon for a little bit of support. He is still doing good work, but just some really bad RNG, some bad model interactions are holding the Vampire Counts back this game. And the Bretonnian player has been doing fantastically. Like, we are talking most about the Blood Dragon Lord because he's 4,000 gold of pure whoop-assery that's trying to dictate this whole battle by himself. So it's an easy thing to talk about. But, like, the Knights of the Realm, the Grail Guardians, we have seen them cycle charging all game. We have seen them staying out of danger for the most part all game. They've always been where they needed to be. The Fey Enchantress has been handled fantastically. I don't want to make this like Dr. Jellyfish is winning and losing this game on his own. Platypus is playing fucking great. But there have been some pretty silly shenanigans of the Blood Dragon Lord. Grail Guardians and Knights of the Realm opting out to go charge these Skeleton Warriors. Just want to get rid of them. The zombie summon is fading away, so they're trying to wait out that summon and make these Vargheists commit back to the ground where they can get a nice charge in on them like this. They are back in, doing good damage to those Vargheists, and the Fey Enchantress is back. She is draining them down. Can the Blood Dragon Lord get anything done here? He is trying his best. Another Invocation to Heck helps out the Vargheists. A quick Helm of Discord lowers everybody's stats as the White King attempts to snipe out the Grail Relique. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, I don't know what he's targeting, but it looks like it is, in fact, the Grail Guardians. He is just done with this nonsense of chasing the Fey, and he says, fine, if you want to run away from me, I'll kill your stupid Knights, and then I'll kill you later. So it looks like he is just going for the Night Snipe right now, but at 61 HP, the Grail Guardians are holding on. That, Grail Relique giving them plus 12 leadership. The Fae being nearby gives them plus 5 more, and they're already a hyper elite unit. So they're just fighting to the very end. 31 HP on those guys. Blood Dragon Lord is trying to get out of the blob. All the Bretonnian Knights' health bars are so low, but they're just not fleeing. Their belief in the lady is far too strong, and the Grail Relique is keeping them here. Yes, sir. Blood Dragon Lord's back in. Looks like this time he is going for the Fae Snipe. He desperately needs to get shots on her to keep that balance of power away from army losses, and he gets a big hit, but the second hit does miss. Vargheists limping around to their master, doing their best to hold on. The White King and the Zombie Summon also providing a bit of bump grind. Oh, there's 2 Grail Reliques. I didn't even notice both of them there. Okay. Big charge onto the Fey Enchantress. He misses yet again, though, and this Blood Dragon Lord is just not having a good time trying to hit this lady. misses a whole bunch of attacks in a row, and army losses is going to hit. Damn. That was a pretty good game. That was a pretty good game. Who's versus who? Platypus versus Dr. Jellyfish. It's coming to me. I'm sorry, I feel kind of bad now that the dragon just fumbles around all game. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Like, they definitely did that last patch, but then there was, like, the beta where they worked fantastically, and then it just didn't stay. 3,300 on the Fey Enchantress. Paladin got 900. Enri got 1,400. Grail Guardians, 2,100. And about 1,800, I guess, if you round that up. Knights of the Realm, 1,100. Nice for them. Battle Pilgrims, so many kills. Look at the kills. Look at the kills on this cavalry, too. They just churned through those skeletons and zombies. Jesus Christ. Peasant Bowmen did okay. One of them got a lot of value shooting at the Blood Dragon Lord. The other ones just didn't get value. It looks like Dr. Jellyfish shut them down rather effectively. The Grail Relics were super annoying for him in the late game. Their leadership buff just insane, plus the ITP. So, yeah, a lot of Brett players have been including at least 1 or 2 Grail Relics. For Dr. Jellyfish, the Blood Dragon Lord got pretty good value, even though he missed a lot of attacks. That was just rough for him, but still a lot of value. Still tried to carry the game. Blood Knights did fantastically well. Black Knights did honestly okay. White King did fine. Vargheists did well. And then all the skeletons were around. They did their stuff, and some of them even paid for themselves. But I probably would cut like 2 skeleton spearmen or some skeleton warriors and get a necromancer on a corpse cart, and I just feel like you'd be better off. It does feel like too much chaff to me. I think I understand what he was going for, but I just don't think this amount of chaff is going to matter, unfortunately, as the Bretonnians just murdered them all. But I mean, the premise is fine. I mean, like, seriously, the only change I would make to this build is maybe cut like 2 or 3 chaff and get a necromancer on a corpse cart for the buffs, for the healing, and for the more winds of magic. But the rest of the build I liked a lot. It was pretty solid. GG. And again, I haven't seen any of these ahead of time. Okay. I saw a message and I answered it quickly. So Bretonnia will advance. Vampire counts do have a second representative in Bobman on the other side, so the counts are not gone just yet. And we're down to Tretch and the Phoenix King. Tretch and the Phoenix King. Where the heck are you? That's Lizardmen versus Dark Elves. There it is. Yep, got it. High Elf main who plays Dark Elves. Phoenix King playing Dark Elves. He usually plays High Elves, as his name suggests, but we had one of our qualifiers was just top 8 go, and then I was talking to those 8 players, and I was asking that they don't, like, you know, we all pick High Elves and stuff. So I had them give me their top 3 factions in order of preference, and Phoenix King's second was Dark Elves, while Black Knights, I mean, he and Black Knight both wanted High Elves, but Black Knight's second was like Empire or something, I forget, but it was already taken by somebody else, so it's either kick Black Knight down to his 3rd choice or give Phoenix King his 2nd choice, so I gave him his 2nd choice. But he's normally a High Elf stan, a High Elf main. He's taking one for the team by playing some Dark Elves. So for the Dark Elves versus, who are we against? Lizardmen? Cool. Triple Cold One Knight, 2 Repeater Crossbows, 2 Scourge Runner Chariots, Malekith up on his dragon with Soul Stealer, then we have Blackheart Corsairs and Bleak Swords across the front line. Yeah, pretty straightforward build, kind of a ranged kite type thing. The other side for the Lizardmen, who have been rising in priority, we have Chameleon Skinks and Skink Skirmishers, a ton of them across the front line, 6 total. 5 Skink Cohorts with Javelins as well, 2 Ripperdactyl Riders, one of which is Clawson Hunter's ROR, 2 Feral Cold Ones, 2 Cold One Riders with Spears, and 1 regular Cold One Rider, plus a Salon Mage Priest of Life with Blood Statue of Despite, his Bound Banishment as well, and then Earthblood and Flesh to Stone. Okay, so both sides kind of trying to kite each other a little bit. Hey, Rusty, what up? Brett Cav looking good after the buffs? Yeah. The kite ensues. A nasty shot from the repeater crossbows, though. Actually did more damage to those skinks than I would have thought. Okay, cool. Good for them. And the Dark Elves are charging forward, getting a little danger close. The Lizardmen here. Lizardmen are going to back off. I do worry slightly that the Lizardmen are just going to get ground down over the course of this game. I think that all of these skinks could die to this Dark Elf front line. That could be concerning, so they'll have to really win the mobile advantage, which, to be fair, they do have 5 cav units versus 3 of the Cold One Knights. So Phoenix King's Skirmish is going to have to do some good work, but the Lizards should probably win the mobile game melee style. The Dark Elves should win the front line. Yeah. Kiting currently going in the favor of the Dark Elves as the Skinks are shooting at things with silver shields and such, and the Dark Elves are just kind of spraying into them, though that is ammunition that's armor-piercing being used on Skinks, so it's not the worst thing in the world for the Lizards, but still, damage is damage. Scourge-Runner Chariots get a neat little charge, do a little bit of poke damage, and wander off before these Coldwind Riders can catch up to them. And if the Coldwind Riders overextend, they are going to get shot in the face by the Scourge-Runners, but also these repeater crossbows will probably turn onto them as well. Maybe even Malekith dives down, so they might want to be careful as they're going to get side-charged here by Cold One Knights. It's Cold One on Cold One violence. Ouchies, ouchies. They did not enjoy that whatsoever. They are starting to fall back, though. Blood Statue, despite from the Salon, is going to start doing some damage. Kind of like Melkoth's or Spirit Leech level of damage versus those Cold One Knights. Up on the high ground, Cold One Knights again opting to fight with the Cold One Spear Riders and the Feral Cold Ones. But with the infantry support of the Dark Elves nearby, it looks like the Spear Riders are losing out on this trade, and the Feral Cold Ones are also going to rampage and soon terror out from the Giant Dragon Lord in their midst. Meanwhile, Scourge-Runner Chariots getting into melee with all these Skink cohorts and the Skink Skirmishers, going to rout them off pretty quickly with the help of Bleak Swords, and the high ground is going very heavily into the favor of the Dark Elves. On the low ground, the Lizards are technically winning, but it's just not going very quickly for them, so we'll see how that goes. A Banishment plus a Ripperdactyl charge trying to catch these repeater crossbows. Unfortunately, the Ripperdactyl's charge targets like the couple models out of position rather than the main groups, and the main group is easily just going to path out of here. And a mass rout on the top side for the Lizardmen. If the Dark Elves can get some mobility up here and chase them off, that'll be a huge value trade for them as they can get like 6 or 7 units off the battlefield that are plenty capable of rallying, and a lot of them have good ammo left. Meanwhile, the front line of the Dark Elves on the bottom side is getting trashed. Tretch and his Lizardmen doing good work down here. Cold One Knight's going to get away from here before they get too damaged by the Clawson Hunters, the Ripperdactyls. And Phoenix King does have his Skirmish Cav continuing to fire over into the Lizardmen, just get some nice poke off with his arm-piercing bolts there. Earthblood from the Salon trying to mitigate some of the damage, and Malekith flies over. Big breath attack onto these Cold One Spear Riders, but it mostly hits 1 or 2 models in the front, didn't spread across the units, so the Lizardmen are happy to get out of that one alive. The Dark Elves were not able to capitalize on the routing Lizards. They just didn't have the assets up here, like they don't have Dark Riders or anything to chase them off, so those Lizards are going to rally and come back. Malekith dives in for a snipe attempt, but he is getting poisoned by all these skirmishers, and the Ripperdactyls are coming in. The Colossadon Hunters with their Flesh to Stone Overcast, they're chilling. And they push Malekith right off, who chucks down a Soul Stealer. It is going to do some nice damage around him. So overall, the classic Dark Elf, you think I made a mistake? No, fuck you. You made a mistake for thinking I ever make a mistake. I punish your blob with a blob of my own. A blob punishing blob. Anyway, I'm joking. Soul Stealer isn't a blob. I just stumbled over words and committed. Tretch's Ripperdactyls are chasing down these repeater crossbows, and things are getting really hairy for the Dark Elves. I'm getting concerned. Balance power is slightly favoring the Lizardmen, or dead even. It is hard to tell, but the Dark Elves are just looking a little worse for wear. These Cold One Knights getting worn down, the front line getting worn down, and soon these repeater crossbows will have no one to hide behind. Malekith himself burned a couple Soul Stealers and such. I mean, he's still fine. He's still chilling. There's a lot of stuff for Lizardmen left. On the other Lizardmen side, though, I guess they have many things left, but a lot of it is quite injured. We have a healthy Feral Cold One. The Colossadon Hunters are healthy. I guess, okay, we have a life Salon, so as long as your stuff's alive, it can get healing. Cold One Spear Riders trying to catch Scourge-Runner Chariots, and they have locked them down in melee for a bit, which is usually where they can get good damage on the Scourge-Runners. They're just not really getting the DPS out. Their unit is too injured and doesn't have enough models to get high DPS, and they get routed and shattered off immediately. Malekith bailing out some of his Cold One Riders and Scourge-Runners, but the Colossadon Hunters are right on his ass, as are these other Cold One Riders, which means these Scourge-Runners are probably going to have to leave the fight here soon, and that'll give Malekith less bodies, mitigating some of the damage from him. Cold One Knights are routed off. These other Cold One Knights are actually going to hang on. Their banner was past me, so I didn't get to see them for a bit, but they are rather healthy. Malekith will be just fine. He throws a quick Soul Stealer onto the Colossadon Hunters, really trying to wear them down. How's the Life Salon doing? Does he have anything to say about this? He doesn't have regrowth, I suppose. So, yeah, he's just going to spam out Earthbloods when he can. Clawstone Hunter's going to rampage over here, as one of the repeater crossbow cav with about half ammunition is caught by a massive horde of skinks and cold ones. Rear charged by the Ripperdactyls, they are going to be pushed off the map. Balance power shifts slightly in the favor of the Dark Elves. And I don't know what to feel anymore. Both sides have just taken such horrific casualties. Dark Rider Repeater crossbows retreating over there. Scourge Run Chariots getting a good charge onto the skink cohorts, doing decent damage. A little charge attack. Nice job, boys. And Malekith once again dives onto the Salon Mage Priest, but like clockwork, I imagine these Clawstone Hunters are going to be on their way over here. Don't know where they're going right now. Looks like they were opting out of that other fight, but where are they going? I don't see movement orders from them. I don't see attack orders either, but them fucking off into the distance is costing the Lizardmen this game right now. Like, they're not here to protect the Salon. They're not here to punish Malekith, and the Salon took half his HP and more. Now Malekith is opting out, and the Ripperdactyls come back now, but that mistake might just tip the balance of power into the favor of the Dark Elves. A massive repeater crossbow volley is knocking down those Cold and Spear Riders, and I wonder if we even have any more Earthbloods from the Salon right now, because I haven't seen any spells cast from him for a while. There's a nice Earthblood. It only catches him and the Clawstone Hunters, though. It doesn't catch those Cold and Spear Riders or any of his skinks. Malekith breath attacks point blank range on the Clawstone Hunters, taking about a quarter of their HP off, bringing their healing cap into sight, and they now have another Flesh to Stone overcast onto them. 60 physical resistance. And what is the point of overcasting this spell? Extended duration. Okay. I don't know if it's worth it, because the Salon keeps taking overcast damage, but we'll see. Clawstone Hunters attempting to tear down Malekith. Somehow the Dark Rider Repeater crossbows got caught, and they are pushed off for now. Scourge Runner Chariots firing their last couple volleys into these Clawstone Hunters, but it is mostly just down to Malekith as far as the Dark Elf army goes. Big Soul Stealer hits the entire Lizardman army except for that skink skirmisher, though. We have other skinks in the distance who still have ammo who need to be rallied. They need to come back, but it looks like most of the Lizardmen attention is on the immediate fight right here. As Malekith is attempting to be punished by the Clawstone Hunters, but it's just not getting through to him. They did not land a lot of attacks, and he does have 15% physical resistance plus his healing from Soul Stealer, so he just doesn't care. Lizardmans are getting ground down. Dark Elves trying to rejoin the fight, but rampaging Feral Cold Ones will catch them in the distance. Skinks are blasting up into Malekith's stomach, but his missile resist plus his physical resist gives him 40% damage resistance against that small arms fire. And now here we go with the poison effect and with all of these javelins there. The javelins do more damage than the little skinks, but with all of these slight missiles shooting him in the belly and the Clawstone Hunters fighting to the very last, they are going gung-ho, just everything on sniping Malekith. It is not enough as Clawstone Hunters are finished off by him. His heal cap's within sight. He is at a half HP, though, and the Clawstone Hunters are straight up dead. Without anything left to heal for the Salon, I significantly doubt there is any Lizardman force on this battlefield that can kill Malekith, and he can just Raffle Stomp the entire game. And with a last middle finger Soul Stealer to hit the Salon and two very injured skinks, he'll probably finish them off and cause army losses. Soul Stealer's reverse, Uno, Spirit Leech, and Fate of Balance are the +4 draw cards. We've gotten some banger games, I will say. Gotten some good ones. Ugh. Oh, good stretch. 3,400 on Malekith. Could Ripperdactyls be effective surrounded in the air the way units on the ground can? They can. It's very difficult, but they can. Bleak Swords did fine. Black-Eyed Corsairs did fine. Cold One Knights, mixed value. Scourge Run Chariots did quite well, but since their ammunition nerfs, they've had a hard time getting, like, crazy value. They just do fine. Like, they're still a good unit. They're just not an insane unit. How much would damage does Soul Stealer cost? I don't know, like 16. Dark Rider Pier Crossbows struggled to pay for themselves a bit. The Lizardmen put really good pressure on them, but we saw that when they would get a volley off, they would do a ton of damage, so I like that. I like that thingy. That unit. Salon Mage Priest of Life did okay. Clawstone Hunters, 2,400 value. The other Ripperdactyls got killed, I think off screen mostly, but they didn't get a lot of value. Cold Ones, Spear Riders, and Cold One Riders, meh value. I know you need this unit, and some of my Lizardman builds, I have to take them, but like, Lizardman Cavalry is such garbage. Feral Cold Ones are solid, but they're Horned ones are good, though Fate of Buna exists. I get that. But like Cold One Riders and Cold One Spear Riders are dog shit. They're necessary, but they're dog shit. Skirmishers, Skink Skirmishers did okay. Skink Hordes of Javelins overall did fine as well. So the Chaff did well, the Colossal Hunters did alright. The Cav failed. The poor Lizardmen. And the Dark Elves advance. Is that the only Lizardman hope? That is the only Lizardman hope. So who have we lost so far? We lost the only Ogres. We lost the Wood Elves. We lost the Demons of Chaos. We lost the Greenskins. And we have lost the Lizards. Those are factions that will not be winning the faction war. They have no second chance. None. None. Okay. What am I looking for now? Nurgle and Empire? No. Nurgle Empire, is that him and Hippo and Sentencia? Yes, it is. Lovely! Oh, this is spicy. This is spicy. Triple Demigryph Knight with Halberd versus Nurgle. Huh. And we have Kugoth and a Plague Ridden. Weird. That's weird. Okay, I don't know why you need a second caster besides Kugoth. That was very strange. I'm intrigued. So for Nurgle and Hitman Hippo, we have 4 Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, Kugoth Plague Father with Fleshy Abundance. We have a Plague Ridden of Nurgle. Oh, with Rancid Visitations. Okay, I don't know if it's worth it. But I think I can explain what's going on here. Rancid Visitations is a really good sniping spell. It's just good. It's solid. Everybody loves it. But the problem is if you put it on Kugoth, he can almost never get to whatever he wants to snipe. So I think Hitman Hippo put it on a Plague Ridden so that it can fly around on the Rotfly, get to whatever you want to snipe, and use it. That's a pretty cool tech piece. I will say I don't love when people are taking Fleshy Abundance and Rancid Visitations in the same roster because both are so expensive that you're just not going to get off a significant amount of casts, so you might as well just have one spell and cast it more times. That might just be my opinion, but I don't love that. But I really do like, if I was correct about why he did it, I do like the innovation of being like, well, Kugoth can't get to where this needs to be, so I'll get a second caster and do that. It's neat. It's neat. Then, okay, 4 Plague Toads, 5 Nurglings, and some Chaos Warrens with poison, plus a single Fury of Nurgle in the back, probably in case of the Sunmaker. And if you just suicide dive the Furies onto it, maybe get a quick kill. Maybe what they're doing. All right, for the Empire, we have Swordsman, Spearman across the front line. It looks like triple Huntsman, triple Demigryph Knight with Halberd, Karl Franz up on Deathclaw with his usual buffs, and we have a Life Wizard on foot with Regrowth and Earthblood. I hate Demigryph Knights with Halberds. For some reason, I cannot prove this. I have not done the testing. I just know from playing a pretty good amount of Empire. For some reason, Demigryph Knights with Halberds feel worse at fighting large targets than basic Demigryph Knights. I don't know why. I can't explain it. They just feel bad. Don't know. I actually love traditional Demigryphs right now. For some reason, they've been performing great. I really do enjoy them quite a lot. Halberds, trash. Don't know why. Can't explain it. Okay. That's just my opinion, though. If you've been having a good time with the Demigryph Knights with Halberds, you keep on plugging away. You do it. I just had one too many games where I fought Lizardmen, and I brought the Royal Altdorf Griffites, Demigryph Knights with Halberds, and I surrounded a basic Bastildon, and they, like, lost to a basic Bastildon, even with my healing support. And I decided right then and there, you know what, this unit sucks ass. All right, Rancid Visitation upgraded on the Life Wizard, and now the Rotfly is trying to dive on him, is trying to snipe him out, but it looks like the Demigryph Knights are going to come back and deal with this, which is pretty smart by them. A Regrowth is going to counter that Rancid Visitations. Is it Overcast, though? Nope, it's basic Regrowth, okay. That was nice. That was a nice little attempt. If the Demigryphs hadn't been so on point about coming back to protect their Jade Wizard, you can see he might still route even with that, but the Plague Ridden was trying to get off a cheeky shot or two on him. Route him before he can cast the Regrowth, and then just follow him off the map. That could have been pretty huge, but even so, you're getting a lot of damage on the Jade Wizard. Now you can see why I was talking about people like that spell. Maybe attack Invil, why not just get Spirit Leech on the second caster? I don't know. Some people like Rancid Visitations for the pure shock value it can do. Like, this is a Jade Wizard after getting Rancid Visitation overcasted. and he used a regrowth on himself. So I think Hitman Hippo was trying to go for a snipe, like, if you could route him before he gets the regrowth off, you can run him off the map. I think that's what he was going for. But we'll see. Because what he could have done, real quick, just to explain this for anybody that's like wants to use it in quick battles or something, what he could have done with 2 flyers versus 1 flyer, imagine this guy's routing, right? You pull in the Furies and your Herald of Nurgle. And you have the Herald of Nurgle, let's say, follow the little guy. And if Franz comes over and Franz chases you, you go this way, and your Furies take up the chase. And then if Franz turns around to deal with your Furies, the Furies run away, and the Herald of Nurgle comes back. And you just follow the Life Wizard, annoying Franz, harrying at his sides, and just take the enemy caster off the map entirely. They never get to cast spells, and that's a huge win for you. Like, I think that's what Hitman Hippo was going for, and it is a good play. And BBB Sentencia kind of read it, ran his Demigryphs back, cast a regrowth real fast onto his own Jade Wizard, and just, like, stopped that from happening. But if the Jade Wizard had routed, like, even just routed, not died, he probably wasn't coming back from the way Hitman Hippo was set up. Now, I could be misreading it, and Hitman Hippo could have said, like, big spell go whoosh, me have fun. But I think that's what he was going for. All right. Franz dives in onto Kugath, pops all of his buffs. Nope, just Galmaraz. And he gets some good shots off onto Kugath while the Huntsmen continue to rain in fire. Now the Plague Toads of Nurgle are grouping up around Franz, getting really good damage onto him with their armor-piercing values. And another regrowth is popped on the Jade Wizard as the Herald of Nurgle continues to hover ominously. I think he was afraid of an undercasted Rants of Visitation just finishing him off there. But what is still nice about this for Nurgle is if all the healing is being cast on the Jade Wizard, there is none for Franz for a little bit, and he is getting worked down for now. Demigryph Knights are used to peel off these Chaos Furies of Nurgle, and those Chaos Furies are just buying time for the Plague Toads to not be shot in the face by Huntsmen. The Empire frontline has committed. Little Nurglings are bouncing and hopping all over them, and with Throwing Axe support, they are winning that frontline fight for now. The Herald of Nurgle, the Plague-ridden of Nurgle dives down on the Jade Wizard again. He fails his first attack and now is surrounded by Demigryph Knights. Can he even get back into the sky? We will see, but the Marauder Horseman charges are coming in now. There's just so many of them surrounding these Demigryphs. I imagine their Throwing Axes will be going into those guys soon, and the Huntsmen are still locked up in melee, really unable to get very much done. The Halberds are surrounding this Plague-ridden, but just not doing a ton of damage to it. And this is the concern I had, because for some reason, this unit sucks. And I think someone in chat was mentioning it, but I wonder if their attack interval is just bad. I don't know. Kugat took a lot of damage from something. I wonder if the Huntsmen have been targeting him. They probably have guard mode on. They've just been shooting him this whole time, even with Franz trapped. So they're getting some poke damage down. Kugath can just heal himself up, especially with Fecundity, the Nurgle army ability, so he's going to be just fine. And the Empire withstands. Demigryph Knights with Halberds are able to push off these Marauder Horsemen quite easily in melee, and they are slowly whittling down that Plague-ridden, getting a couple good shots in as we mentioned it. The Huntsmen are secured. The Huntsmen are firing. The Empire is up on the damage value, and Kugath goes back in. He is desperate to snipe out Franz to get something from this, because all of his Toads, which could be, you could definitely read that as a mistake from Hitman Hippo, but all of his Toads are back here in this fight. They're not out here disrupting the Huntsmen. It's leaving Nurglings on their own. It's leaving Marauder Horsecav on their own, and the Marauder Horsecav and the Nurglings are having to get thrown into the meat grinder, just getting butchered, so he needs to get something out of this Toad surround of Franz, and he is. He's getting crazy damage onto Karl Franz, and there's no regrowth yet from the Jade Wizard. I wonder if he has the Winds of Magic available for an overcasted regrowth or not, because he had to use 2 regular regrowths on himself. We will see. Now those Plague Toads are starting to move around. Now the Marauder Horsemen are a little more freed up to do what they want, and these dogs are threatening. These 3 Demigryph Knights with Halberds, while I don't think they're as good as the basic variant, I have said that a million times, they're still fucking Demigryph Knights, and you do have to respect them. So I'm not trying to say they're a bad unit overall. In any case, anything they fight in this Nurgle army, they are going to do fantastically against. So Hitman Hippo is usually either not fighting any of them, or he's fighting all of them all at once, and that is really good. You don't want to trickle in, you want to Alpha Strike, just throw everything in, because you know that these Plague Toads of Nurgle, they're dead, right? They're dead. They're fighting the Demigryphs, they're dead. But while they're dying, you are diving their backline. So I like that from Hitman a lot. Franz did end up getting a heal of some kind. It looks like an undercasted regrowth. His healing cap's within sight. And Kugath, off screen, just heals right back up to 12,000 HP. He is chilling. He is big chilling. Huntsmen trying to rally. One of them is routing. The other 2 are just constantly under duress, and Franz might even have to come back here and deal with these Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle, but Hitman Hippo is not giving up. He does not want those archers to fire ever again in their entire lives. Plague Toads continuing to fight Demigryph Knights. The Demigryph Knights need some Earthbloods, but Franz needs some regrowths, and this Jade Wizard is hard-pressed when everybody needs him at the same time. Nurgle's throwing axes. How are we doing? It feels like they've taken a lot of damage. That one's being routed off and is running low on models. This one is chilling and fine, and that's about it. So yeah, Nurgle has lost a lot of the throwing axes, and the throwing axes are the big thing that can really punish these Demigryph Knights. More Nurglings are piling in, and Kugath is inching forward. What he wants more than anything is to get in the middle of these Demigryph Knights and just start mortising them down. That is what he wants, especially with some Nurgling support. So I wonder what the Empire is going to do. They might have to abandon this fight. They can't. Like, they cannot have multiple Demigryph Knights sitting around Kugath. But his healing cap's within sight, and Nurgle is down on the balance of power. I'm getting very concerned. The Huntsman routed off by dogs. Other Huntsmen firing in onto Kugath, still committing all of their shots to him. They know he's going to heal cap. They don't care. They just got to get that damage down. As Demigryphs run away from him, Franz tries to take a fight against the Plague-ridden of Nurgle. Make sure that there's no more rancid visitations or anything in the late game. Though you do have Kugath as a backup caster, so if you snipe out the Plague-ridden, it's not the end of the world. Still have Kugath. These Nurglings are grinding down, and they do have abilities. They have that healing thing from Kugath. Nurglings around him do have regen, which is something I often forget. So they're chilling. They're big chillin'. Nice job. Demigryphs, one is about half health, one is very injured, and another is quite healthy. Huntsmen are being rallied on the backfield. The Empire is just taking a breather, getting a second wind. Their state troops are holding quite well, and I don't know if Nurgle can win this. I'm very scared. Very scared for little Nurgle. The little Nurgie. Regarding ministers walking through Skaven line monsters, oh, what about warp grinders? Can't you stop them? I did try that versus Durthu on a replay that'll be coming out soon. I'm still working on it. I'm not saying Skaven are doomed. I was just saying Skaven are having a hard time in general. I'm surprised even Franz can hit Kugath through his hitbox. Yeah, it's weird. Hi, Doomsage. In general, you can never understand halberds as a thrusting or hacking weapon. All right. Sorry, I was just getting caught up on chat for a little bit while we did some bumping and grinding. Overcasted Fleshy Abundance is going to hit everybody in this blob. Unfortunately, those 3 units were not at the center of it, but it hit 2 different Nurglings and the Plague-ridden plus Kugath, so it was a nice use of magic. Throwing Axes still doing their best to do some damage to the Demigryph Knights with halberds, but Franz rear charging them is going to take them out. Huntsman firing in with actually a good amount of ammunition. I wonder if Kugath counterfires them, because honestly, if he hits that low health Huntsman over there, he'll route it, and it routing might route that other one. I wonder if he does just take them out. Yeah. Nice. Does it hit? Ooh. Smokes the healthy one, too. Doesn't quite route off the low health one, though. Kugath's going to have to aim another shot. Meanwhile, the Empire's running out of state troops. And I think these Demigryph Knights need to get a little more aggressive. They were chilling. They wanted some healing from the Earthblood and stuff, but at least one of them should be cycle charging in and out to deal with these Nurglings. Because I'm getting a little worried about that. That's a lot of Nurglings. And Demigryph Knights, like, they are just going to get more dissension now by Kugath if they have to sit and fight Nurglings while he cackles and drains them all. So yeah, the Nurglings are actually going to be a bit of a problem. Ooh, nice job. While I was focusing on that, the Plague-ridden of Nurgle comes out here and just shatters one of the Huntsmen, routes the other 2. Nice job, nice job. Hitman Hippo has really been making that second caster worth his time. It's just a nice little flying guy that can route off Empire units. Franz opts back into the fight. Big Kugath is down to about half HP, just a little over that, but he is healing capped. One of the Nurglings does disintegrate away, or is that a Plague Toad? It is a Plague Toad. A different Nurgling is currently regenning up from being next to Kugath, but it's getting awful close to crumbling. 2 more Nurglings are near their heal cap. Can Nurgle really do it as the Demigryph Knights have surrounded the area? Does mean they are all going to be getting drained down, though, so you have to be careful about that. Can't stay in here for too long. Some of the Huntsmen are returning, but they're so far away that I think this game will be decided by the time they come back and get any DPS out whatsoever. Franz is very near to his heal cap. The right Rune Fang is buffing out all these Demigryph Knights. But he's 2v1ing right now with Kugath and the Plague-ridden. The Nurglings just don't quit. They just don't give up. Nurgle's still down in the balance of power. Franz is opting out. The Demigryph Knights are opting out. They are trying to just back off, reset, and let some Spearmen do some work, but the Spearmen start to just cycle terror out, and then one of the Demigryph Knights has to opt back in as more Huntsmen are here in the distance, firing in onto Kugath, who has 7,000 HP. Franz has half of his hit points, even though his health bar is much higher. That's just how much you're dealing with when you're fighting Kugath. Plague rear charges Franz yet again. God, I've been liking that little caster. I doubted it at the start of the game, but I like him. He's just a good little pressure piece. He's just a good boy. Just the best boy. Nurglings are almost heal capped, which makes Kugath's passive healing aura going to stop mattering soon because the health is what it is. That's all they're going to get. And the Plague Ridden goes to fight the Jade Wizard, knocks him down, hits him, and he's also heal capped. Is everything fucking heal capping in this game? Jesus Christ! I mean, the Demigryphs aren't, but still, for fuck's sake, man. Franz dives down onto Kugath. He's getting big damage out, and he runs away. None of his buffs are popped right now, so yeah, he doesn't want to do anything besides cycle charge. He doesn't want to stay and fight at all. And the Demis are getting low. I mean, we still have one very healthy one over here, but I doubt the Empire has too much healing left, otherwise they would be casting it. Last of the Huntsmen are shattered off. Franz is stuck in melee combat. Looks like he wasn't able to fully get out of here. His buffs are not off cooldown until he pops one there. Stand your ground gives him some melee defense. Nurglings quickly crumbling away next to Kugath. Kugath's gonna run away, only 3,000 HP for him, 2,400 for Franz. Franz has been getting good work in. The Demigryph Knights with halberds continue to fight these Nurglings, but they just aren't getting through them. The Jade Wizard even decides to go fight Kugath for now. He needs to take him down. Nurgle's crumbling away. Franz is getting chased off by the Plague Ridden. He can't get back into this guy with this guy on his ass. He needs to probably just turn and drag these Demigryphs over and just kill that guy outright. But killing that guy has been really difficult for the Empire all game. And he's not doing it. He's just taking rear attack after rear attack from that little Plague Ridden. He needs to just fight. You're not getting away. You need to just fight. He just keeps getting hit. He needs to just turn. He turns with the Reichel Runefang, but is it too late? The balance of power comes back to the middle. The Jade Wizard is terror routing. Most of the Demigryph Knights have terror routed or naturally routed. Spearmen are fading away, and Franz is losing this fight to the Plague Ridden. He's dealing some good damage back, but he's taking more than he can handle at the moment. Gal Miraz is also popped, just really wants to hit that guy. And now he runs away again, but we learned, no, okay, oh, sorry, I didn't see the Demigryph Knights there. I was gonna say, dude, you learned this, he could just follow you. But the Demigryph Knights are surrounding the Plague Ridden. They're trying to hit him, struggling to hit that model. Something is wrong with how they interact with that model. They just aren't even swinging at it as he gets out of there after taking 50 whole damage. Kugath's getting low, and his leadership goes negative. Is Kugath going to start crumbling? Franz dives in. He is determined to make sure that crumbling gets through, but he goes from having -3 leadership to having 30 out of nowhere. Now he's down to 3. Now he's up to 23. His leadership is swinging wildly based off of nothing. Now it's up to 41. He just can't, like, how can you make a plan based off of that? You have no idea if this guy's about to crumble or if he's completely fine. What the fuck? Franz is actually going to rout, but Kugath takes a nasty shot in the face. He starts crumbling down. He starts crumbling down. Kugath's gonna go. Kugath's gonna go as the Demigryph Knights and halberds continue fighting. Kugath is still crumbling, but he rallies. He rallies all of a sudden 4 leadership, 1,000 HP. The Demigryph Knights with stand your ground continue to fight. Kugath is at 1 leadership as the Jade Wizard continues poking at him, and he goes again. He starts crumbling, but he rallies again. Franz is out. Franz is running -1 leadership as the Plague Ridden is after him. Kugath's crumbling again. The Mortis engine of Nurgle is gone. Is gone at last, but the Demigryph's leadership is faltering. Everybody's faltering. Franz is running off the map too. No one's here to finish off the Nurglings, and Nurgle pulls ahead on the balance of power. Can the Jade Wizard hold? Can the Spearman hold? The Nurglings start to crumble very briefly, but they come back, but they rally, they hold on. The Jade Wizard's gone. The spears are gone. Franz is dead, and Nurgle pulls it out on the back of 2 almost dead Nurglings, and this fucking Plague Ridden on a fly. Jesus Christ. That absolutely banged. That slapped. I don't care if you like Nurgle. That slapped. That slapped. 6,000 damage value on Kugath. 2,100 on the Plague Ridden. Did absolutely great work. Some of the Nurglings got 800 value from just bumping and grinding next to Kugath. The Broader Horsemen throwing axes, mixed value overall. They had to be used as dog units for a while. Plague Toads did okay. Chaos Furies and Nurgle did quite well. I might have to cast that game on its own because it was so fucking wild. Franz, 2,300 values. Demigryph Knights also got, honestly, really good value. Better than I expected. Now, I did set up, and I try not to do spoilers, but loading in, I was not ready for the triple Demigryph Knight with Halberd, and I do know that Hitman Hippo won this game. So when I saw the Demigryph Knights, I was going to be like, oh god, they just got fucking murdered, and that was it, and that was a, you know, oh shit. Because I saw Kugath, and I immediately imagined all 3 of them surrounding Kugath and dying. I did not expect this fucking game. That was complete chaos. That was just wild. And I hope BBB Sentencio is proud of his performance there, even though he did end up losing, because that was the shit. That was the shit. Such a good game from those two. Jesus. Oh, man. Nobody's wiping the smile off my face. I'm feeling good. All right, Hitman Hippo advances. And that is our first round of this right side. So, we are, again, for anybody who wasn't here at the start of the stream, just so everybody knows what's going on, we are casting the right side of this bracket all the way down to the final two semifinalists on this side. And then on a different stream, we'll cast all of the left side all the way up to the semifinals, and then we'll do top 4 live. Currently, we have 3 of the 4 finalists. We are waiting on 1 game from the left side bracket. Yeah, so that'll be live. But we are doing replays here, so we are going to continue. So back to the top. If you remember all the way back at the start of the stream, we had Guillaume versus Coops. Now it is Guillaume versus Razel. Can the Chaos Dwarves persist, or do the Beastmen have a couple schemes up their sleeve to deal with these guys? Those Nurglings probably would have died if it hadn't been if it had been a Grand Clean Winston and Kugath. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to some Chaos Dwarves versus Beastmen. I'm thinking of crafting some builds. Yeah. My voice actually hurts from screaming consistently. So I'm gonna grab something to drink. Just give me a second. Jesus, that was wild. That was wild. Hi Hazel. What do you want? Oh! Here's a little Chewy for you. Come here. You're fine. You love your Chewy. Sorry, I hate to pause the stream like that. Normally, on a normal thing, when people are doing their picks and bans and build phases, I can slip away for a drink or just not constantly scream at you. But when we're doing replays, it's just non-stop talking, so my throat got a little dry. Okay, we're back. Sorry about the delay. Beastmen of Razel versus Guillaume's Chaos Dwarves. We have the Hashets Ravagers, the Bull Centaur Render ROR. We do have Gordo's Backstabber. This is going to be the first game on live I have seen him in. I have not seen him in anything since the beta patch, honestly. He brought none of his buffs, so he's just like a little stabby guy. We have some Orc Laborers and Goblin Laborers mixed throughout. Infernal Ironsworn, Infernal Ironsworn, Infernal Ironsworn. So 3 Infernal Ironsworn, plus the Blazing Beards of Bazak, a Magma Cannon, and an Infernal Guard of Fireglaves. That is going to be tough. We saw a game with Boojilicious and Cool Umbrella on the channel recently, one of the replays I cast, where triple Infernal Ironsworn just carried the whole game. Beastmen can have a tough time dealing with those guys. Plus, of course, we have Astrogoth with his Hammer and his Ash Storm. Cool. For the Beastmen of Razel, Centaurs. Looks like we have 2 archers in the back. Bestigors? We have 3 Bestigors! What the hell is this? Triple Bestigor, 2 Minotaurs with great weapons. We have a Doom Bull with his Dazed ability. I guess he's going to try to lower the melee defense of the Chaos Dwarves. A Traderkin Wilds Caster, and some more Centaurs, some Throwing Axes, and some Ogre Spearman. But we have triple Bestigor coming out here from the Beastmen. Ash Storm is immediately thrown down, and those Fireglaves immediately ripping into the Minotaurs, and the Magma Cannon hits them. They go from full HP to half HP in the blink of an eye, and Razel immediately backs them off. He wants nothing to do with that. As the archers do come in, Minotaurs are blitzing through these Goblin Laborers, and we'll see how well the Infernal Ironsworn can hold up. So far, their blasting charges are doing really good work versus the Minos. Sorry, one sec. You okay? Hazel, you okay? Come here. Come here. What's wrong? What's wrong? You seem okay. Did you hurt your little tooth? Did you hurt your little tooth? Show me your mouth. You seem okay. I'll check back in on you in a little bit. Weird. Dog was whining instead of eating her treat, which is weird for her. She normally eats anything right away, so I'm just worried about her mouth, but I don't see anything wrong, so I think I'll just stop focusing on her and turn around in a second and see if she's eating again or something. Anyway, sorry. Gorda's backstabber at half HP while we weren't looking. Centaur's beating the shit out of him right now. But the Minos with great weapons are pushed off, and something is happening to the Hashut's Ravagers. Good lord, they're getting murdered. The Centaur surround plus the Minos plus the Bestigors apparently is just enough to drag these guys into the dirt. And that is all of the Chaos Dwarves' mobility presence. They don't have any Hobgoblin Wolf Riders or anything like that, so they don't have anything to secure their backline at all. Anyway, Orc Labor is getting rear charged by Centaurs at the moment, but we do have the big hammer. I think it's Hashut's hammer. I don't actually remember what it is. It might just be Hellhammer. Rips those Bestigors, takes half their HP with them, but they are hanging in there for now. Other Bestigors continuing to try and fight these Infernal Ironsworn on the front line. We'll see how well they can do. Big Traitor King cast from Razel. Not overcast, just regular cast. It hits the Hashut's Ravagers. It hits the Infernal Guard and the Blazing Beards. Are you okay? Alright, don't know what that's about. Gorda's backstabber is routing. I don't think the Doombull can keep up with him, though. His 92 speed is far superior, so the Doombull probably wants to come back to the fight. Don't know why Hazel's being so whiny. She does this from time to time, and it makes me nervous. Minos do dive back onto the Infernal Ironsworn. We'll see how they can do there, but the balance of power is pretty significantly in the favor of the Chaos Dwarves. And I would tend to agree, these Bestigors have just taken so much damage trying to hit this front line. And the Minos are in and out. Centaur is doing their best. We do have some throwing axes, getting behind the Infernal Ironsworn, getting past their silver shields and doing some decent damage to them there. I don't know if they can grind. Hi. You good? Dog. Alright. Doombull's back in. He is lowering these Infernal Guards' leadership down whenever he hits them. Down to 33. Makes it much more manageable for the Beastmen to hit. And a big Traitorkin. It also hits the Magma Cannon. That's probably the single entity I wasn't noticing. Oh, and that could bring the balance of power back quite a bit. If they snipe out the Magma Cannon with that much ammunition, and Magma Cannons are super squishy in melee. If you can snipe that out, you can bring the balance of power back and keep it away from Army Losses territory while you cycle charge with your Minotaurs and Bestigors and throw these little axes. I'm scared for Astrogoth, though, in the late game. He might be difficult to deal with as the Doombull realizes he needs to just go kill this Magma Cannon. He charges it once, then he turns around and gets hit in the butt with some steam. That pisses him off enough, so he turns back around. He says, fine, I will finish you off. And he starts punching it. Punch it to death. Punch it to death, little Doombull. Nice. So Magma Cannon's getting messed up. Gorda's backstabber's back in, and he is backstabbing the Wildscaster right now. The Beastmen falling further behind on the balance of power. And they need a hero. They need a hero calling out in the end of the night. I don't remember the song. I need a hero. That one. I don't know the lyrics that well. I just know the shrieky bits. Infernal Guard with the Fireglaves trying to fall back away from the Beastmen. The Magma Cannon is almost dead, but Gorda's backstabber has backstabbed the shit out of that Brayshaman of Wilds. He is likely not coming back at all, and without Traitorkin in the late game, I struggle to see how Astrogoth is going to be dealt with in any capacity. Doombull continuing to fight, continuing to do his best. Gorda straight up finishes off the Traitorkin caster. Balance power shifts further away from the Beastmen. Magma Cannon is shattered. It's not dead yet. It's shattered, though. The Doombull gets knocked down by a shattered Magma Cannon that eventually dies. One Infernal Ironsworn is about dead. The other two are quite healthy. Astrogoth is full HP. The Blazing Beards are also very healthy. And the Beastmen just have nothing left, man. I don't know what to do. Don't know what they're gonna do. How can they win against such reckless hate? Infernal Ironsworn fighting to the last man, but a complete sandwich of Centaurs will finish them off at last. The Doom Bull is very healthy. I will say that for them, but I don't think he can carry an entire game on his back because he just murders poor little Gore does. Yeah, misses that attack there. But next one's going to kill him for sure, right? Yeah, hit him. It didn't kill him. My bad. Hit him again. Hit him again. There we go. Now he's dead. Astrogoth comes over. Says that wasn't very nice. I liked that annoying little goblin. He helped me win at dice. Astrogoth's doing something silly. There it is. Ash Storm giving everybody fire weakness. He does fire damage, because of course he does. And this probably is the end of the Beastmen. There it is. It's the end of the Beastmen and a valiant attempt by Razel. This is not a horror stream? I'm sorry. Okay, let me test something real quick. The dog's more important than you. That's not a secret. I love you all, but the dog's more important. Will you eat that? Go on. Good, go on. Go on. I'm going to pretend to look away and look at you out of the corner of my eye so you don't think I'm watching you. Okay, she's eating that. So, I don't know. If it was a toothache, that would still bother her. I wonder if that other thing was just, like, too hard. Weird. Okay, dog's fine. Dog's fine, everyone. Jesus. What do we got? What do we got? Astrogoth, 1,100 value. Honestly, not that much. Like, he did find that game, but it wasn't a solo carry Astrogoth game. Mag Cannon did well. Fireglaves did fine. Bull Centaur Renders got wrecked by whatever combo Razel used on them. That was wild. The Infernal Ironsworn were world beaters along with their the Blazing Beards. Their armor-piercing blasting charges is doing a ton of value, and then after that, they're still rather fearsome melee combatants, and the chaff was there, so. It was mostly an elite infantry carry game. For the side of Razel, Doombull did fantastically well. The Minos struggled so hard. They just got murked by Fireglaves and blasting charges and all that stuff. The Bestigors also, unfortunately, did not do very well. Traderkin did great. Centaurs did overall quite fine. The Archers struggled a bit, and the Ungor Spearmen got wrecked, but yeah. Bestigors just not showing up for Razel, unfortunately. Rest in peace, the Beastmen. Though they do have another representative in Papa Palpatine on the other side of the brackets. They are not out of the faction war entirely. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. Okay, Razel versus Guillaume. Delete that one. And now I'm looking for Black Knight versus the green one. Black Knight versus the green one. There we are. Got it. High Elves versus Norsca. Will the green one continue his reign of terror, or will Black Knight avenge me? Avenge me! Astrogoth Super Ballast, yeah. Officially named the female emu. That's pretty funny. Alright. You prefer Pit of Shades? Yahar. Alright, Norsca has been having its time in the limelight for anybody who doesn't regularly watch our tournament coverage. Dark Elves are considered at like the top of the meta along with Chaos Dwarves. They're way up there, and Norsca has been picked into them a ton and actually wins about half, if not more than half the time. Skin Wolves, Ice Wolves, and just like mass regeneration can grind down Elven races because all three Elves hate grind fights. Like, all three of them. The Elven identity is not to bump and grind with you. And what Norsca can do is what you saw in that first Skaven game is like you take the first fight, you take a bunch of damage, you back off and you heal. Then you take a second fight, you back off and you heal. Well, the Elves can heal like Imric and stuff. Their healing is very strong on single entities and it's fine on like cavalry. Their infantry cannot. take sustained fights like that. So Norsca is pretty good at doing that, and I wonder how it looks versus the High Elves. I haven't seen it in quite a while. I have been seeing it more versus Dark Elves. So front line of Marauders, a whole bunch of Norscan Ice Wolves, 4 armored Skin Wolves, which is bold, though actually Dragon Princes don't have AP. So that's a pretty clever tech piece. Throg for his regen, just so he can't be sniped out as easily, and a Famir Balefiend of Shadows with Pit of Shades and Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. For the High Elves, real quick, we have some Silver Helms, Dragon Princes. Whoa, Black Knight taking Silver Helms? What happened to you, my friend? You used to be an Illyrian Reaver and Dragon Princes gamer only. Some Spearmen on the front line, more Illyrian Reavers, more Dragon Princes, 3 Archers, a Mage of Life, and of course, Imric up in the sky. Skin Wolves doing exactly what we said they would do. They run in, they get in a bit of a fight, they back off to regen for a little bit, and they're going to countercharge now on the Dragon Princes getting an advantageous situation. More of the dogs are coming in and out, and I imagine they will soon be fucking with the back line of the High Elves. But a quick Pit of Shades tries to catch the Dragon Princes napping, catches some of the Archers, though there was a nice attempt at a dodge by Black Knight at the very end there. Throg is in the middle of all these Dragon Princes as more Skin Wolves and Ice Wolves pile in. Can the green one really snipe out these Dragon Princes? No, they are going to get a regrowth and back off. The High Elf Spear line is holding for now. The Marauders and Skin Wolves having a ton of difficulties getting through these extremely high melee defense spears. Though it's not like the Spearmen deal that much damage back, they just hold forever. More Marauders getting accepted by Spearmen on the back line, and Dragon Princes charging in once more with this regrowth continuing on. Norsca backs off yet again with these Skin Wolves. They are taking a little bit of Archer pressure, though, so they'll probably want to back off further if they're truly trying to regen. If not, they will opt back into the fight, and it looks like they just opt back into the fight. Dogs have been very patient, but now that the Cav has committed to the front line, it looks like these dogs are going to slip in and get on the Archers. Other Ice Wolves fighting Illyrian Reavers and Silver Helms, but I wonder if these cast Norscan Warhounds, yeah, they're just going to ignore it and go for the caster. That's actually a pretty good shout out. She is on foot. Her melee stats are okay, but her armor isn't, her health pool isn't. So if dogs can actually get onto her on foot, that would be fine. Famir Balefiend of Shadows, sniped out by Imric. That is going to be the end of Norsca's magic. Bounce power is against them, though. And I would tend to agree, things are looking a little scary for the Norscan hordes. Skin Wolves getting rather beaten up. Skin Wolves falling back. More Skin Wolves on the back line, though. Tearing down these Illyrian Reavers slowly but surely. The High Elf... Good, she ate the entire tree. The High Elf Cav advantage is slowly fading away as the dogs drag it down. Anything that routes will get chased off by the dogs. Norsca just has so much mobility right now. And the High Elves though too. I'm not trying to shit talk their cavalry right now, but like there's just so many dogs that anything that routes, it's just impossible to keep track of them all, and the dogs are going to chase you down. Famir Balefiend of Shadows does manage to rally as Imric throws down a nasty breath attack onto some Marauders. These armored Skin Wolves with 11 models might not want to stay in this fight with all these Spearmen. They should probably back off and regen for a bit, but Imric's going to force that decision on them. They will 100% rout when he lands on top of them, though he is currently struggling to actual finish landing. He's currently just doing that thing where he kind of moseys on through instead of actually attacking anything. And finally lands. As soon as he does, the Skin Wolves rout, and the Marauders tear around. That's good, though. Honestly, the Skin Wolves routing is good here, because they can back off and heal, which is what they probably should be doing. Illyrian Reavers caught out by more dogs and more Skin Wolves. There's just always more. If you ever think you've killed all the dogs and Skin Wolves, you look over and there's like 3 more units running around. Throg and his Skin Wolves continuing to fight more Spearmen. The Marauders are holding on. I think they've pretty much fully charged their rage by now. Yeah. So they have tons of leadership, melee attack, even some physical resist as they continue to bump and grind. A rear charge over here from the Ice Wolves will maybe rout the Spearmen. The High Elves' bounce power is in their favor, but it's coming back for Norsca a little bit. The High Elves just have this central area, though, that's so tough. We still have quite healthy Dragon Princes and some Silver Helms. But does he notice? Does he see the Pit of Shades coming? Not in time. He backs out. The Pit of Shades is actually a decent vortex, so it is pulling the Dragon Princes back in rather than letting them fully leave. Deletes an Archer, does pretty good damage to these full health Dragon Princes and the other ones, and the balance of power moves closer to the middle for Norsca. That was a big cast and a huge catch for the side of Norsca. Now an Earthblood is trying to heal up these Dragon Princes, but it looks like Norsca all of a sudden hit the go button as they're closing in on all sides on these Dragon Princes who are struggling to get out of here. They're surrounded by dogs, they're surrounded by wolves, and even when they bail out to fight, help Imric fight, there's more Skin Wolves, there's more Ice Wolves. Their speed is lowered by the Frostbite whenever they are hit, down to 55 speed, and Throg runs in behind as well. Can he cause a mass rout? We still have one healthy archer that is around and is firing. Can these Ice Wolves go get it? I don't know. I don't know if they even want to. We will see. As one Dragon Prince actually routs, the fucking coward. Another Silverhelm routs, and a Dragon Prince routs, leaving Imric all alone. Balance of power is dragged back to the middle for Norsca as Marauders continue to fight. But at last, the archers are compromised. These Ice Wolves are on top of them. That means the archers' days are extremely numbered. The other dogs have caught out the Life Caster, and more dogs are pushing off the Spearmen. All of a sudden, all the High Elves are routing. And we mentioned earlier, if you rout versus this Norscan army, you're probably not coming back. They have so much stuff to chase you. These Norscan Ice Wolves are currently getting orders to chase down the Dragon Princes and the Silverhelm. So are these Skin Wolves. These other Dragon Princes will rally in the distance, and that could be crucial because they could cause a chain. They could chain save people, right? Like save this Dragon Prince, and then that Dragon Prince can turn around and they can both save that Silverhelm, and they could all of a sudden turn the tides. But as long as Norsca can keep you routing, they can keep on winning. Meanwhile, Imric is getting some Malekith syndrome in this matchup. He just gets surrounded by Skin Wolves, and Throg is getting beaten down by them. And we were just talking about it earlier, the regen on these Skin Wolves is so strong. All of their heal caps are coming in, and now Norsca's even taken a lead on the balance of power, but the High Elves just hate grinding against these factions that have so much healing, that just keep coming back. They just want to 1v1 you. They don't want to 1v1 you and then 1v1 you again and then 1v1 you again and then 1v1 you again and then 1v1 you again. They just want to beat you once and be done with it. That's not how Norsca / regenerating factions want to play the game. The Ice Wolves are finishing off those archers. Meanwhile, the Norscan Warhounds are busy killing the Mage of Life. Without her, Imric's just stuck. He's just stuck in a fight he doesn't want at all. He can't snipe Throg. Throg is too tanky, and these Skin Wolves are wearing him down. And Norsca is taking a commanding lead of this game. Dragon Princes did rally, and they did try to do that thing we talked about with the cycle saving or whatever. But it took them too long. The Silverhelms are too low to even come back, and the Norscan Ice Wolves are just straight up fighting the Dragon Princes and performing quite admirably, even when their Skin Wolves pile in and now are going to help them out. They lasted for quite a long time and did a good amount of damage on their own. All the Dragon Princes are pushed off. Now, the archers actually managed to withstand the dogs on their own. They do have the martial prowess buff, giving them pretty decent melee stats versus a very, very, very wounded dog. But the Mage of Life is dead. The balance of power is significantly against the High Elves at this point. It would take a miracle to save them as the Norscan Skin Wolves and Throg back off of Imric. And they're chilling. They have all the time in the world. The longer this game goes without a caster, the High Elves have no healing. All these Skin Wolves are healing. They're fine. They just want to not make a mistake right now, and this game is theirs. Throg dives in on Imric, gets a big hit onto him, and he says, "You want to fight me? I can fight for a bit, and then I can back off and regen. My Skin Wolves will take the fight. And then when they back off and regen, I'll take the fight. And we'll just keep fighting you." And hearing this plan, Imric loses all faith, all hope, and he does trigger army losses. All right, Jeremy, liar. Liar. Elves do not bump and grind. Nobody fits in a club more than an elf. That's true. They do. They do like clubbing. I'm good, Doctor. Chaz Michael Millett. I'm glad you like the build. Hannons is a Dark Tyrant in this game. Such a good player. He is, Klosk. But I appreciate you coming in with a good attitude. All of my interactions with you were super friendly. And I liked your build. I liked the attempt. It was solid. We hope to see you around some more, man. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Norsca, Windwolves. Looked so one-sided in the beginning, then it wasn't, then it was over. Yeah. No, the green one is a really good player, and this is just like, this is how Norsca plays right now, is heavily relying on mobility and regen so that you can take the first fight, back off, and while you regen up, you can have your dogs doing important stuff, or Throg fighting, or Marauders fighting. And when I say back off, it's important to remember that there are shades of things. So when I say back off, I don't mean 4 Skin Wolves literally walk to the edge of the forest and stand there doing nothing. The green one had a couple Skin Wolves that went and did that. But more of what I mean back off is like, you take a fight with a Dragon Prince, you take a bunch of damage, but before you lose models, you leave the fight with the Dragon Prince. That could be going to stand at the edge of the forest regen, but it could also be go fight some archers. It could also be chase a routing unit. It could also be help the front line where you're fighting some spearmen, but you're in marauders, so you're not going to take that much damage, right? So what I mean by that is, like, really good Norsca players, and so far we've seen Green One do it multiple times today, is really balancing how much danger you put your Skinwolves in, because it's all about, they can take a super dangerous bad situation for a little bit, and then you need to give them an easy situation. Whether that's fighting no one or whether that's fighting an easy opponent, they just need some time to recoup. And that's how Norsca plays right now. And if you really manage that well, it could be super powerful. Like we saw, I mean, this game, he was at a huge deficit and clawed it back by just super effective use of making sure his Skinwolves never died. Just make sure that they're always alive enough. If they're alive enough, they'll heal up to being a perfectly fine unit again. So it's just really good. It's really, really good stuff. Norsca, so Throg, 1600 value, Caster, 2200. The Armored Skinwolves did pretty well on value, just about paying for themselves overall. Dogs did quite nicely, and Marauders did honestly fine. For Black Knight, 2200 on Imric himself. The Dragon Princes both around 1,000. Silverhelms just about 600. Illyrian Reavers also struggled a bit to pay for themselves. Spearmen did fine. They held forever, so the Spearmen did their jobs, and they're like, I don't know where the rest of you fuckers were. And the Archers did overall well. Foreskin wolves sound terrifying. Yeah, that would be weird. All right. Let's go to the Photoshop while I find the next replay for us. Green One advances. Norsca versus Chaos Dwarves, and one of those two will be one of our top 4 competitors there. What am I looking for now? Hanidans versus Platypus. Okay, I found it. Khorne versus Bretonnia. Now, we saw a pretty excellent game of Platypus versus Dr. Jellyfish. Both players played that quite well. Hanidans and the good doctor had a fight, though. That one, Hanidans did have a pretty good build into what his opponent brought. The mass mobility advantage just mean he didn't have to fight Grimgor or the Rogue Idol, and he kept them at arm's length while throwing axes at them. Let's see if he can have another build diff game, or if he's actually going to have to mega outplay his opponent. Can he outbrain the biggest brained platypus we've ever met? Now, this build will have no such mobility advantage, as triple Minos are here, plus a bunch of Marauders of Khorne, Chaos Warhounds of Khorne, Skull Cannon. Yeah, he's going to have to get in there. Ooh, Bloodbrute Behemoth, too. Ooh, that's fun. Look at that big guy. Look at him. Look at him go. Look at him out there, vibing. Where were you? Wait, where were you to fight the Rogue Idol? We had Scarbrand. Okay, I can't be a little bitch. We had Scarbrand. Though I did want to see Scarbrand actually fight the Rogue Idol instead of avoiding it, which, like, it was smart to avoid it, but come on. I just wanted to see a Scarbrand fight the Rogue Idol. This guy would have a fun time fighting the Rogue Idol. He would probably actually win, too. Come on. Fight the Rogue Idol. Anyway. And Valkia up in the sky with Spear Sleipnir and Demon Shield. Plus Scarlet Armor, actually. For Platypus, we have some of the buffed Battle Pilgrims, an entirely dead Peasant Bowman, some Peasant Mobs in the front line, double Grail Relique, a Paladin and Enri on horseback, also the Fey Enchantress on horseback with Earthblood and Dwellers Below, a shattered off Peasant Bowman, leaving us with just one Peasant Bowman with fire arrows, Men Arrows, Polearms, Knights of the Realm, Knights of the Realm, Grail Guardians, and Knights of the Realm. 3 Knights of the Realm and a Grail Guardian. Interesting. I'm sorry, Lysenia, I failed you. Green one just stomped my shit in. He's too good. He's too good at video games. I can't do it. Though actually, I will say we actually had a pretty close game. I feel like it was close. All right, a little bit of skull cannon kiting as Hanadins rotates around to the edge. It looks like he's just trying to pressure this Bretonnian build that's slower than him to rotate with him while he runs around in circles around it. But the skull cannon is firing every so often. In on the Fey Enchantress. Also, I wonder if Valkyrie is just going to use her second Spear Sleipnir and shatter off another Peasant Bowman. Norsca's roster is so small and limiting, one of the few things they can run. It's like a pre-Champions of Khorne without the flesh hounds. Alright. Reading chat is done now that the Bretonnians are charging in. Grail Guardians get a nice chunk off the Marauders of Khorne and followed up by the Knights of the Realm. Chunking those little units down. And Skull Cannon fires over the tops of those boys. What up, Phoenix King? How you doing? Norsca, not Norsca. Khorne is continuing to run away. They just want to kite more with their Skull Cannon, it looks like. Fey Enchantress throws down a quick Earthblood to heal herself back up. And Velkia wanders into the distance, though. So far, I think the kite thing... The early phase has gone more to Bretonnia than Khorne. Like, you lost the entire Marauder of Khorne. Sure, they lost the Peasant Bowman, but that's just going to happen with the Spear Sleipnir. That doesn't matter if you're fighting or kiting. Yeah. The second spear, nice attempt at a dodge from Platy, and he actually does stop that thing from straight up shattering. Yeah, they will rally, so Valky might have to go stare at them intently to actually get them to rout. Oh, there they go. Goodbye. Skull Cannon firing at the Knights of the Realm, getting some decent damage down, but the Skull Cannon's about out of ammo. 2 shots left, and then it's going to have to commit to the fight. Also, Khorne is putting their backs against the wall, which can be difficult for them. Like, especially because their roster isn't actually that insane of leadership, especially on the Minos. Fey Enchantress and the double Paladins going very far away to regain these Peasant Bowmen, but while they're gone, that does give Valkia and the Bloodbrute Behemoth free reign, and they dive down immediately onto the Grail Relief. They're going to try and punish this moment, take out at least one of the sources of the Bretonnian leadership. Knights of the Realm countercharge in onto the Marauders of Khorne and the Minotaurs. They don't really get any damage down, but a big Dwellers Below from the Fey Enchantress is going to try and do good damage to those guys. And the Minotaurs won't take as much from it as the infantry will, but still some, and that forces them back. Though, overall, that was a great trade for Khorne. The Knights of the Realm have taken so much damage, and the Bloodbrute Behemoth is still going absolutely nuts in the backfield. Knights of the Realm, again, charging the Marauders of Khorne, trying to finish them off, but Minotaurs are going to get a countercharge, and that is going to go so poorly for the Bretonnians. Oh, they just get murked. And the Fey Enchantress is here, but she throws down a Chalice of Potions and takes about a third of her HP from these Minos with the Horn of Khorne pop. Grail Guardians charge in to try and save her, but now they're getting murdered down too. Anything these Minotaurs touch just dies. And it is a brutal time to be Bretonnia right now. Bounce power favors Khorne, and I would tend to agree, as they have peasants dying all over the place. The Grail Relics did survive the dive attempt from Khorne, so that is quite nice for them, but other than that, things are going horrifically bad as the Bloodbrute Behemoth turns towards the Fey Enchantress, and he's just going to slice and dice her with 102 melee attack plus his bonus versus large. He will not miss this lady whenever he swings at her. He turns around, and he's probably going to finish her off right now, just chop her head clean off. Nope, she terror outs before that happens, and he is currently T-posing like a motherfucker. There we go, he gets another charge, he gets another attack, and the Fey Enchantress's leadership goes officially negative, and she's going to run away. The Bloodbrute Behemoth is on her ass. She manages to rally for just a second, then she routs yet again. Knights of the Realm charging in to save her. The Bloodbrute Behemoth just walks past her, decides to take a fight with the Knights of the Realm instead, gets a good charge off, kills a couple models in his haste, but Bretonnia is falling apart at the seams. Knights of the Realm getting chased down by more Minotaurs. Valkia and the Skull Cannon are fighting in the back line versus the Knights of the Realm and the Grail Guardian, though the Skull Cannon is not enjoying this as much as Valkia was. Now with a Paladin joined in, that might be a way for Bretonnia back into this game. Fey Enchantress heals herself up as the Chaos Warhounds of Khorne are after her. They are the same speed, so I think she should be able to get away, but with Minotaurs and the Bloodbrute Behemoth nearby as well, she's getting caught up on some of the planters. They might just finish her off. Skull Cannon getting ground down. Valkia is big chillin' at the moment. She has anti-large, she has armor piercing, she herself is infantry size, so she's not that perturbed by what's going on. And the Knights of the Realm charge into the Bloodbrute Behemoth, and as it just dunks him. Nothing can handle the big boy. Nothing can handle him. Khorne's frontline's doing okay versus all the peasants and battle pilgrims. They are losing slowly, but they had barely any frontline to speak of, honestly. They had 5 marauders, which is not a big deal. Most of their funds were spent on the Blood Brute, Skull Cannon, Minotaurs and such, and those asset pieces are doing great work. Killing a bunch of peasant mobs for now. They do just want to finish sniping anything of high value. Khorne doesn't really want to kill all these peasants with its current build. It would take a long time, and also they would eventually, I think, maybe lose if they just have Minotaurs sitting in battle pilgrims forever. So they're focusing on anything that isn't random peasants. Skull Cannon gets a nice shot onto the Fey Enchantress after getting ammo back from fighting Knights of the Realm, and it's even trying to chase her down for a second, but she runs off, so not a big deal there. Valkia is almost done with the Paladin. Bloodbrute Behemoth opts in. Can anybody kill the Grail Relic, or is it just that kind of invincible? Ooh, Chalice of Potions finishes off the Marauders with dual weapons. In the distance, Chaos Warriors in the corner chasing Knights of the Realm. Minos are fighting on the high end. I just don't see how Bretonnia can come back from this. There's too many dead people. There's too many dead people. Grail Guardians attempting to stop the Minos with a bit of aid from the Fey Enchantress. Minos are mostly ignoring them, but if they stop ignoring them, I feel like the Fey Enchantress might die. Is that thing Naruto running? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Minos continuing to fight, and actually Bretonnia has lasted a lot longer than I would have thought and done better than I would have thought after how that early game went. The Bloodbrute Behemoth is walking around here trying to maybe tear out some stuff, trying to find a home. It's really having a hard time actually getting attacks off as the Skull Cannon is caught once more by Grail Guardians. Its cool little attack animations will keep it safe while the Bloodbrute comes out of the trees. Naruto runs his way into killing 2 more of the Grail Guardian models. Nope, just 1. And then the Fae shows up, and he's like, once again, you and I will do this dance, and someday I will catch you and I will kill you. But it is not this day. As the Fey Enchantress gets away, gets hit in the butt by a Skull Cannon. Well, the Skull Cannon also hits a Grail Guardian. 2-for-1 value on that guy. Army losses is coming super close as Henry is taken down. The Paladin is next to go. Bretonnia just has very little forces left on the field besides filthy, filthy peasants. Skull Cannon fires, but the projectile doesn't come out. I don't know if that even counted. Another Skull Cannon shot. Can't tell if that hit the hill or the Grail Guardians, but it hit something. Grail Guardians get a decent charge on the Marauders. Does almost no damage, though, and now the Bloodbrute Behemoth is here to make them regret it. Minos trying to chase around the Fae. At this point, there we go. It's funny I started fast-forwarding. I was going to say it's a foregone conclusion, but it literally was. How did Platy win this in that other tournament? I don't know. Not playing Hanadins. Valkia did 2,000 value. The Bloodbrute Behemoth, as cool as he was, only got 1,400 value. Minos did more work. Skull Cannon also did quite nicely. Marauders, mixed value overall. Platy? Okay, sorry. Phoenix King was saying stuff. Fey Enchantress struggled to get value, so did both of her Paladin-type heroes. Grail Guardians did okay. Knights of the Realm got mostly murked. Battle Pilgrims did alright. The one polearm did pretty well when it just got to sit and fight with the Bloodbrute and Valkia and some Minos and stuff. But yeah, that was a tough one for Bretonnia. Jesus. He played this against Hanadins? I don't know. Then I guess Hanadins made changes after getting whooped on. So Hanadins advances. We have 3 games left for today. Phoenix King versus Hitman Hippo. Guillaume versus the green one. And Hanadins versus whoever wins that. So for all of you who have hung on and are just like, please get me out of here, soon. Soon, my children, soon. What am I looking for? Dark Elves, Nurgle. That's it. Dark Elves and Nurgle. I'll let you look at these builds while I check my messages to see who the hell wants my attention. Okay, cool. Okie dokie. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? For Hitman Hippo's Nurgle. Marauders of Nurgle, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, Marauders of Nurgle, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle, even a Chosen of Nurgle, and some more Marauders. One Marauder Throwing Axe of Nurgle. Then we have a Plague Ridden of Death. Interesting. Plague Ridden of Death. And then a Herald of Nurgle with no spells, just Locus of Fecundity. So his AoE heal. An Exalted Hero of Nurgle on horseback. Lucinia, Hannon's is so screwed, apparently. Why would I want to get out of here? Yeah, it's true. Hazel's fine. She's chilling. Okay, on the other side, for the Dark Elves of Phoenix Team, we have 4 Dark Rider repeater crossbows, 4 more regular Dark Riders, 2 Cold One Knights, 2 Cold One Dread Knights, 3 Dread Spears, and a Supreme Sorceress of Dark, the Malekith Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. She is cheaper, though she doesn't have the physical resist that Malekith does. Otherwise, she is the same, just for less cost. And no Gaze of Malice. The 2 Nurgle Fly casters are going to give her a bit of a rough time, since all 4 of the Dark Rider repeater crossbows are over here. There is no worry that they will get sniped out or anything, and the Dark Elf caster is just going to land, daring the flies to follow her. Never mind, she takes back off in the sky. What the fuck? How did you do that? I thought there was a cooldown on that. She's landing again. Don't know what's happening there. All right, Cold One Knights surrounding the Exalted Hero of Nurgle. Meanwhile, the Dark Rider repeater crossbows are falling back. Nurgle's infantry are trying to get into a fight, though this is going to be a tough game for Nurgle. Like, infantry versus cavalry is tough when you don't have, like, ranged pieces or anything. Ooh. Oh, yeah, what's going to stop all 4 of these repeater crossbows from just kiting? The fly works well. Now there's 2 of them. Nice. They are keeping the Supreme Sorceress of Dark under pressure a little bit, but meanwhile, Cold One Knights are just charging in and out of these Chaos Warriors and Chosen. Actually, the Chosen took very little damage on that. They might win this. Yeah. Cold One Dread Knights are going to opt out. They don't want any of that nonsense. They don't want any of that guff. Fury's attempting to attack the repeater crossbows. They will get rear charged by Dark Riders, though it looks like Hitman Hippo is trying to get them back into the sky. No, he's continuing to invest in this, and actually the Dark Riders are really close to routing. What the fuck? That's kind of wild. Where'd that Exalted Hero go? Where did the Exalted Hero go? Oh, he's way over here. Hello. Dark Riders, Cold One Knights, and the Dragon Caster are trying to take him out. That is a heavy investment. They'll probably beat him up, but I suppose time is on their side. It's not like the Dark Elves are in any rush. All Nurgle can do is slowly waddle at them. If they don't want to fight them, they can just walk away. Because even their infantry are faster than Nurgle's infantry. Huh. I think Peter crossbows, and just imagining a unit of Peter Griffins armed with crossbows. Their voice lines would probably be pretty silly. Anyway, the 2 fly characters of Nurgle, plus their Furies and their Marauder Horsemen, have committed to just dealing with these repeater crossbow cav, realizing that if they allow themselves to just be kited into oblivion, they're going to have a bad time. Phoenix King is mostly running for his life, but a couple of them do get a moment to sit and fire at the Herald of Nurgle. I keep doing that because he looks like him. The Plague Ridden of Death, who's going to actually fade up a Dark Rider, and that probably just gets rid of the unit straight up. Exalted Hero Nurgle briefly terror routed, but he's back, he's chilling, he's fine, he is vibing. Yeah, that is going to be 1 Dark Rider gone from the fate of Balance. 5 seconds left on the spell, and that unit's already breaking. It is also near the edge of the map, so I do wonder if it comes back at all. The Exalted Hero is traded for it, though. In the distance, we have some cycle charging that I've been largely ignoring. Cold One Knights and Cold One Dread Knights trying to cycle charge his infantry. They're actually taking a lot of damage in response. Jesus Christ. They're doing their best out there. Those are some thick chaos lads, though. They need the repeater crossbows if they're going to deal with all those infantry. Spirit Leeches have started on the Supreme Sorceress of Dark. And for all their efforts, Nurgle was not able to really shut down these repeater crossbows. They're trying again with this Plague Ridden just following them around. He's having such a hard time sticking on him, man. I don't know. I like that the Dark Elf caster is just on the ground. Just walking. Take some throwing axes in the butt with funny little sound effects. But Dark Riders are going to charge straight into these guys. And they try to get away, though the charge bonus has started, and the Dark Riders are faster, so they should catch them and route them off the map, which will be one of Nurgle's other mobility tools gone. And here we go, big snipe attempt. And yeah, the Dark Riders even have to peel off of their pursuit just to buy some time here for the Supreme Sorceress of Death. Throws down a Soul Stealer, but she needs to survive the snipe attempt from the double Nurgle flies. Furies are also surrounding her. The repeater crossbows are in. They are shooting, and wow, that Plague Ridden got messed up. Ooh, Locust of Virulence giving them all sorts of buffs. Locust of Fecundity trying to heal him up, but his leadership's too low. He is crumbling away. They did a lot of damage to the Sorceress of Dark because that was after a Soul Stealer. Health is still that low, but the repeater crossbows just lined up and fired, and that took out the Plague Ridden entirely. Just murdered him. At this point, the Herald of Nurgle is still trying to fight, but he is alone. The Furies have died. His Plague Ridden has died. Marauder Horsemen of Nurgle opted into a melee fight with the Dark Riders, but they're just so low that even the Dark Riders at this point can beat them up. And the Lord is just cycle charging. She now wants this fight with the Herald of Nurgle, doing good damage to him. And if your caster dies, and all your mobility and range tools have died, then it doesn't matter how much infantry you have. The Dark Elves are just going to run over this one at this point. So we'll see if the Herald Nurgle can get away. But even then, he actually has no spells. The Plague Ridden had all the spells, so it's like your spellcaster is already dead. He just has Locus of Fecundity, which you can occasionally use to regen up some stuff. Why would you want to cycle charge Nurgle Chosen? They look exactly the same as Marauders and Chaos Warriors symbols. So I imagine that in a very busy game, the Dark Elf player just didn't notice that those were chosen. All right, Repeater Crossbows are back. Even the Fate of Bunid one gets back into this fight, and that is probably the death knell for Nurgle at this point. Herald of Nurgle goes back to his fight, but I imagine we are just going to have Repeater Crossbows shooting an infantry blob at this point. I said point a lot, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anything that routes is getting chased down by all of the King's horses and all the King's men. The Herald of Nurgle can't even win the fight versus the Sorceress. More crossbows, more terror routes, more soul stealers. And that's going to be a pretty decided game at this point. The infantry win condition is not going to be enough for poor Nurgle. I can appreciate it, though. Like, maybe if your opponent was relying on Scourge Runners, then they would just run out of ammo, and then you'd be fucked. But, yeah, Repeater Crossbows have tons of ammo. They're capable of dealing with this. Pew-pewing down the little Chosen. Damn. GG. $2,900 even on Malekith, but with more hair. Cold and Dread Knights did fine. Cold and Knights did okay. Repeater Crossbows did fine. Dark Riders did fine. For Hitman Hippo, it was tough. Like, as soon as you load into the game, just seeing the builds, you're like, oh, well, fuck this, I guess. He did what he could after the build phase, but sometimes you just get hard countered. And that was brutal. It was brutal. So the Dark Elves advance. On the right side of the bracket, we have Chaos Dwarves, Dark Elves, Norsca, and Khorne. Besides Khorne, those three are actually quite meta factions right now. So maybe none of it matters. Maybe it's all just meta bullshit. Chaos Dwarves versus Norsca, one of our last two games of the day. Guillaume's Chaos Dwarves with a very similar build to what he took versus the Beastmen. Jesus Christ, is that the exact same build? That might be the exact same build. What does Nurgle have to counter those repeaters? Flies, dogs, Fate of Bunid / Spirit Leech. Ooh, Soul Grinder. Ooh, Soul Grinder. Soul Grinder Nurgle actually does really good. What's the Fire and Crossbows faction at the top? It is Chaos Dwarves. Okay, so for the Chaos Dwarf build, we saw pretty much this exact same thing already. So we have Gorda's Backstabber, Astrogoth Iron Hand with his, I need to learn this thing's name, Hellhammer. Got it. Hellhammer and Ashstorm. We have triple Infernal Ironsworn plus the Blazing Beards of Berserk, so it's pretty much 4 Infernal Ironsworn. 1 Infernal Guard with Fireglaives, a Magnum Cannon, and then a bunch of Goblin and Orc Laborers. On the other side, for Green One's Norsca, we have Marauders, Marauders the Great Weapons, Marauders. We have quadruple Marauder Hunters with the Axe variant, so armor-piercing missiles. Actually, 5. We have 5 of them. Good lord. More Marauders are great weapons. Wulfric the Wanderer on horse. First time not seeing Throg with him. We have Pit of Shades, Melkoth, Mystifying Miasma from the Familiar Balefiend of Shadows. We do have 3 Norscan Ice Wolves. They're just a super effective unit. And we have 2 Skin Wolves. So hey, Greven! Greven! Are you still out there? Greven, I know I just saw you post, but I'm going to pretend I don't know that you're still out there. We got some differences, man. We got a new lord. We got 5 Marauders with the axes. We got less Skin Wolves. All right, he played a different thing. He's playing a different build. Greven, it's what you wanted, man. It's what you wanted. I hope this is everything you dreamed of. I hope as this man loses because he catered to your demands in a replay that he did almost a week ago. He listened to you, and you are the sole cause for the outcome of this game. So if he wins, it's all because you inspired him, and if he loses, it's because you forced him off the meta shit. I hope you're happy. All right, Wulfric piles into the Goblin Laborers. He is right in front of these Infernal Ironsworn, and the video is not out yet, but if Infernal Ironsworn throw at a single entity, that single entity is going to die. So not great there. Something is happening. Pit of Shades onto the Infernal Ironsworn. It is overcast. That's actually doing an insane amount of damage. And Gorda's Backstabber even opts in to fight Wulfric the Wanderer. His Foe Seeker popped, and he's currently trying to get out of Goblin Laborers, but actually, if you're on a horse, you can't get out of anything ever. So even these Goblin Laborers are holding him in place because of just reasons. Are Chaos Dwarves the new Dark Elves yet? Yeah, they're actually pretty fucking strong. They are pretty insane. All right. Wulfric and the Marauders. The Marauders have to try to bail out Wulfric now because, dude, horses need some serious fucking help. They get stuck in anything. They just can't move. Wulfric's taking so much damage for free because of this. Anyway, the Infernal Ironsworn still haven't turned and just, like, deleted Wulfric, so I can say I'm not a big fan of that. They should have just killed him by now. Maybe at this point in time, Kiyama doesn't know how much damage they do to single entities, but yeah, he could have, like, I'm not joking, he could have killed Wulfric there by just throwing those grenades at him. That's how wild those things are versus single entities. The Magma Cannon is shrekking down the Marauder Hunters, and a Hellhammer is going to take out these other Marauders. Norsca is taking so much fire. Jesus Christ. They're having a terrible time advancing onto this front line. The northern part of the flank hasn't even gotten engaged yet, and the bottom part's taking so much damage. Norsca's in dire straits already. The balance of power is shifting in the favor of the Chaos Dwarves slightly, and I definitely agree. I would say maybe even more. But we do have a Pit of Shades. It is going to catch 2 units, the Infernal Ironsworn and the Infernal Guard with Fireglaives. So that is a huge moment, and Marauders have pushed through the Goblin Laborers, so if you get attacked by Marauders at the same time that you're taking all those Pit of Shades, maybe they can rout? I don't know, though the Pit of Shades is doing some friendly fire to the Marauders, and ooh, yeah, it didn't do enough to these Infernal Ironsworn. They're so elite that they'll be just fine with that result. Now the Marauders with the great weapons and these Javelin, not the Javelin, I'm saying that, throwing axes are currently hitting these Infernal Ironsworn, getting them to take a little bit more damage. Ice Wolves diving onto the back line. More Ice Wolves diving onto the Magma Cannon. Norsca's desperately trying to hold on. Their Famir and Wulfric have taken a lot of damage, though. And this isn't like the previous builds. It's not like their Skin Wolves are around just healing up. One of their Skin Wolves is routing off with, like, a shit ton of damage onto them. And another Hellhammer comes out. Does it even hit the Marauder Hunters a little bit? Yes, it does. And I just am so scared for Norsca. Like, they're running out of everything. Like, everywhere I look, there's Norscans dying. It's perfectly sense that a Horsewing 5 times sends as much as a Goblin can't knock them out of the way. Yeah. All right, Gordo's Backstabber still trying to get to Wulfric, who is helping some Norscan Ice Wolves deal with the Goblin Laborers. We still have some throwing axes up in the distance, and that could be the only saving grace here. Is Norsca has all 5 of the throwing axes are still technically alive, and they all still have a lot of ammo. The Familiar Balefiend is doing fine, and these Infernal Ironsworn with a Melkoth and some throwing axes get just deleted down, which is a big moment for Norsca in this game. They are creeping back towards the middle of the balance of power, but we have Astrogoth. I haven't even talked about him all game. This guy is here, full HP, and he's ready to go. Wulfric's getting caught out in the middle of nowhere, or is it a bait? Is it a ruse? Does he have Hunter of Champions? No, he's going to use Foe Seeker. He just doesn't want anything to do with Astrogoth right now, and I can't say I blame him. Norsca is rallying on the south side. They are coming back. Skinwolves have regened a bit. Marauders coming back, but oh no, an entire Marauder is just deleted. But Magma Cannon betrayal on the Infernal Ironsworn. As the Ironsworn murder the Marauder Hunters, the Magma Cannon takes out the Ironsworn. And on the backfield, by the way, Bull Centaur Renders stuck in a fight with Skinwolves and all these Ice Wolves. Now the Storm of Ash or whatever is going to help them out quite a lot, and those Ice Wolves are probably on their way out. But still, decent trading in the back for Norsca trying to take out that mobility. The Castor front line is faltering. We have the Blazing Beards pushed off by those throwing axes. We have the Infernal Ironsworn pushed off by throwing axes. And that is actually it. All 4 of the elite infantry are running. Now we have just these Infernal Guard with Fireglaves, and their melee stats aren't nearly as good as the Ironsworn or whatever. Magma Cannon's full HP, but it's running a little low on ammo, and even so, it's so squishy that if you just catch it and kill it, you could come back in this game. It's about half and half on the balance of power. Wulfric looks like he's charging for the Magma Cannon now. He does want to take it out. And can he get good shots onto it? I thought he popped something, but I don't see anything, so I guess not. Magma Cannon is taking a bit of damage. Fireglaves are trying to shoot in melee combat. But Astrogoth needs to probably snipe out Wulfric if he has any hope in this game, as the Bull Centaur Renders continue to fight these Skinwolves. The Skinwolves are trading okay, and they are regenerating the whole time, so good for them. These Marauder Hunters with their throwing axes are closing in. They're closing in, just slowly whittling away from the outsides. And, ooh, Hunter of Champions onto Gordas. Wulfric heard what he did earlier to the poor Beastmen, and Wulfric even experienced a bit of his gooning at the very start of the game. Wulfric said, "Goon this, bitch!" He's just kicking his ass. Gordas goes from 2/3 HP down to 1/4. Down to... Oh, now he gets sandwiched between the Famir and Wulfric. The Wulfric did miss that rear attack on him. He hits that one. The Famir kind of stands around with his butt in the air, but Wulfric is going to finish off Gordas, so Gordas is pushed off. Norsca is ahead on the balance of power, and it's just the Astrogoth show. All of a sudden, the tenacity of Norsca, even without the regenerating elements, is helping them stay in this game as these Marauder Hunters. Mixed value overall on the bottom ones, because they just got hit by Hellhammers and all that shit, but on the top ones, 300, 600, wow, not as much as I would have thought from these Marauder Hunters. Okay, I kind of thought they were doing good work, I guess not. Where is the value coming from then? I don't know. I don't know where the value is for Norsca. Magma Cannon is dead. Everything is routing except for the Blazing Beards up on the top side. Another Hellhammer onto Astrogoth, trying to catch out these Marauder Hunters, and he catches most of them in that shot. He might just rout them. We will see. But even the cast itself just throws Killing Fire on these 2 Marauders, and we'll get rid of them. We do have a Skinwolf. We have another Skinwolf over there, both trying to regen. Wulfric is quite healthy. Some Orc Laborers have returned, but they're not going to matter. Yeah, they're not going to matter. Little bit of kiting little Astrogoth. Oh, wow, that was a good volley. Jesus. Skinwolves and Wulfric dive onto him. Hunter of Champions is out. Wulfric dives in. Balance of power is significantly against Astrogoth, and Wulfric just deletes his Marauder Hunters to finish off the Blazing Beards. Doesn't give a fuck. He's like, "You're out of ammo, you're dead to me," and just takes him out. But he also gets rid of the Blazing Beards without any support. Astrogoth takes 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, and falls too low. Balance of power votes against him. It's out. He got him. He got him. Nice job, Wulfric. So for Astrogoth, 1,000 value. Gordas Backstabber, 500. The Bull Centaur Render ROR, 1,500. Fireglaves, about 900. Magma Cannon, 1,400. The Infernal Ironsworn and the Blazing Beards not getting as much value as they did versus the Beastmen. Really struggled to pay for themselves that game, and it showed. And the Orc and Goblin Laborers just got murdered. I'm so curious what the values are going to look like for Norsca, because when I checked in-game, the stuff I expected to do well was not. Wulfric, 1,300. Famir Balefiend, 1,300, so that's quite nice. Skinwolves paid for themselves, pretty much. Ice Wolves did fine. The throwing axes did well, but I honestly expected them to do insane value. Yeah, it looks like it was a bit of a team effort, just like everything on Norsca eventually pulling its weight, except for basic Marauders. But the Marauders with the great weapons did fine. GG, I guess. Fuck. Okay. And Chaos Dwarves had a good run, but the green one avenges his clanmate, Razel, and does advance to the top 4. So Green One will be joining us live whenever we do that. But who will be joining him? Hanadins or the Phoenix King? Dark Elves or Khorne? Okay, there's Dark Elves versus Khorne, but I also have to remember to get rid of this one. All right. Dark Elves versus Khorne. The Phoenix King playing Dark Elves. And Hanadins on his beloved Khorne. With a skull cannon. 2 skull cannons.
Show no mercy.
All right. The Great One on fire, literally. Yeah, he did good. Must have been the magma cannon shooting some lads. Yeah, maybe I got a couple more shots off screen I didn't see. This is the last replay of the stream. So, for Hanadins and Khorne, we have double Skull Cannon, Valkia the Bloody up in the sky with the Spear Sleipnir, and the Demon Shield, a bunch of Marauders frontlining for triple Exalted Bloodletters of Khorne, including the Hellforged Host, and then 4 Marauder Horsemen throwing axes. Interesting. On the other side, for the Dark Elves, we have Malekith, Dark Riders, Coldwind Knights, Coldwind Dread Knights, Coldwind Knights, and Dark Riders, so a decent Cav Corps, and then 5 of these Blackheart Corsair Handbows and 4 Dread Spears. True, Hanadins. You do love your Skull Cannons. Skull Cannons firing into those Coldwind Dread Knights, just getting some free little value. And I will say, I forget who I was fighting. It might have been Golden Floof. I think it was BBB Golden Floof. But I played Khorne into his Dark Elves post Scourge Runner nerfs. I was curious how it went. And he had a box of like 2 Blackguard, Malekith in the sky, maybe some Hargoneth Executioners and stuff. Like, he had an extremely elite infantry box, so maybe that could be kind of the tech piece here for the Exalted Bloodletters, is like just to deal with Blackguard and stuff. I don't know, but I did run into elite infantry build and I felt completely helpless, so I do wonder how that would do versus this. Obviously that's not what Phoenix King took, so maybe the Exalted Bloodletters aren't having the best day here. Alrighty, Coldwind Dread Knights opting into a fight, taking a lot of damage actually, though. They're already down to half HP, and the throwing axes plus the Skull Cannons continuing to rain terror on the Dark Elves, but the Dark Elves have gotten in range of their own skirmishers now, and they have 5 Blackheart Corsair Handbows firing back on the Khorne lines. Meanwhile, Cycle charging in from the Coldwind Knights and the Coldwind Dread Knights is getting good damage value, and a big breath attack from Malekith, taking half health off the Exalted Bloodletters. Big oof there. Skull Cannons continuing to fire at the Cold Ones. Doing pretty good damage, though, so both sides trading a lot for there being no real melee fight just yet. And we might get the melee fight now as Dark Riders and Dread Spears are caught by Marauders, and these Exalted Bloodletters should tear through the Dark Riders without much issue at all. The Dark Riders are going to start opting out, but that leaves the Dread Spears at the fate of Khorne's Mercy, which is not a thing you usually get. You don't usually get Khorne's Mercy, you get murdered. You get Khorne's murdering hands. Looks like the Exalted Bloodletters, though, have attack orders onto something else. They're not really attacking these Dread Spears yet, because we should see, if they actually have attack orders on them, more of this type of action, rather than this Dread Spear is holding forever. Now it's starting to look like it's actually getting some attacks. As Valkia dives in, I wonder if we have a Spear Sleipnir down the line somewhere. Don't really know. North side, the Dark Elves have a lot of forces that are doing fine, but they're also mostly uncontested, so I hope they're doing fine, because nothing's up there to hurt them. Meanwhile, Skull Cannons are firing at Malekith, getting a little bit of punishment down onto him. The Skirmish Cav of Khorne is doing quite well. Khorne's even on the balance of power for now. They have gotten a lot of damage out. 2 Dread Spears, a Dark Rider, and a Blackheart Corsair Handbow are all almost already routed off, including a Coldwind Knight, so good start here from Khorne. On the side of the Dark Elves, we lost a Marauder earlier. I don't know if he got run off the map or if he came back. There's another Marauder quite injured there. Bloodletters, they're feeling the burn. The Hellforged Host is already down to 1/3 HP, close to that crumbling point. And the Marauders that got caught are dying. Malekith, another big breath attack onto more Exalted Bloodletters. He does damage his own Coldwind Knights a little bit, so kind of an even trade on that breath attack, which is not good because you only have limited uses of it. But yeah, Hellforged Host starting that demonic instability crumbling. Sad to see them go. More Marauders are routing. It looks like Khorne is getting beat in the melee by the superior cavalry, and honestly more expensive infantry, considering the Blackheart Corsair Handbows. Valkia still full HP so far, though now wrapped up in the Coldwind Knights. I don't think she has her Demon Shield off cooldown, so Malekith is going to take this opportunity for some damage. And the Throwing Axe Cav all spread out throughout the map, but they are not nearby. They aren't here to punish Malekith, who is also chucking down a big Soul Stealer onto 2 Exalted Bloodletters and Valkia, which is quite solid damage, and a rear charge from the Dark Riders, just trying to get their leadership low enough to that crumbling point. 3 leadership on the Exalted Bloodletters. -10, they are going to start crumbling away. The Dark Elves will take the lead on the balance of power without that elite unit on the field, but the Skull Cannons are still ripping shots, so they are point-blank range with some skirmishers. I wonder if they take a nasty volley here. Nope, they juke away from it at first with their really crazy movement animations. It can be hard for ranged units to predict them when they are moving. Malekith dives back onto Valkia. Now she has Demon Shield up, so she is going to trade onto him. And we have Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, punishing him. But the Cold One Dread Knights and Cold One Knights will peel them away. Probably take a lot of damage in the meantime, but it does buy Malekith a little bit of time to fight Valkia. Her Demon Shield wears off. She's now fighting Cold One Dread Knights and Malekith. Falling behind on that as the Skull Cannons go rolling through the Black Ark Corsairs. Still taking a lot of damage, still getting shot at close proximity in melee. They are trying to regen out. They are trying to do their best. Khorne is holding even-ish on the balance of power, falling slightly far behind, slightly further behind. But he's giving it hell. The last of the crumbling units does disintegrate away, so everybody left here is a mortal unit, except for, I guess, the Skull Cannons. Malekith is just beating up Valkia in melee, though. Throws a Soul Stealer on her. Obviously, the Demon Shield is still on cooldown. Hits her again. She just can't get away. She is going to rout at this point, and that alone is tipping the balance of power heavily against Khorne, as their Skull Cannons and their Marauder Horsemen continue to kite around. It just doesn't matter, as all of their melee forces have faded away. Valkia straight up dies to Malekith, and Malekith can outduel Valkia quite easily. Feels super good. Feels super good for Khorne, I bet. Kindergarten shapes are hard. Go Demons, go Demons. They were trying. Healing versus no healing. I wonder who will win this. Skull Cannons, I think they have healing in melee, but yeah. Khorne is disastrously far behind at this point. Malekith is chasing down the Skull Cannon, and once it starts demonic instability crumbling, Hanadin is going to lose like his last value asset on the map. Malekith's like full HP and has more Soul Stealers to boot. There's a ton of Dark Elf infantry. I just don't see him winning at this point, as even he just admits that and surrenders. Doesn't make Phoenix King play it all the way up. Malekith, 2,600 value for him. Valkia is nothing compared to Mama. Malekith, probably. Yeah. Malekith being like, even with his cost increase, he's still a relatively cheap lord for what he can do, and he's like a really good duelist, and he's a really good spellcaster, and he's a dragon mount, so he has insane mass, insane escapability, agency, and breath attacks. Malekith just still does so fucking much for his cost. Worse than Kugath? Well, yeah, I think Kugath's model is broken, so that's really annoying to deal with, because there's a lot of units in melee that just legit can't hit him. And if you doubt me, take Astrogoth versus Kugath with nothing else. I can almost guarantee you Astrogoth will get the bug where he can miss like 50 melee attacks in a row because he just can't reach the center of Kugath's model. It happens almost every time. But, yeah. I also think Dragon Lords are a little silly right now. More of Dragon Lords that can heal themselves rather than like Imrik. At least Imrik needs support, but yeah, Imrik's also a little crazy. Anyway, Black Ark Corsair Handbows did well. They got pretty solid value across the board. Dread Spears mostly just got murked, but they needed to eat some shots. And the Heavy Cav didn't get good value, but it was nice to support Malekith. Malekith hard carried. For Hanadin's, Valkia got bodied by Malekith because, I don't know, sucks to be you, I guess. His Ultimate Bloodletters did okay. They just didn't have a lot of stuff to fight. Skull Cannons did fine. Throwing Axes did actually less than I would have thought they did. And Marauders got hurt, but yeah. The Dark Elves went for a kite instead of a box. And Hanadin's looks like he had a pretty good box-busting build. GG. I will take you back to the bracket one last time to finish out the stream for today. Phoenix King will be advancing. Where are we? There we are. Deleted last replay so I don't double cast it in the next stream or something. Photoshop, where are you? Phoenix King. All right, so we have our two semifinals, the Phoenix King and the green one. Norsca versus Dark Elves will be one of the matchups on the finals day. The live one, yeah, that one. The left-hand side will get cast as soon as one more game finishes up. We have every game over there except for one. The players that are playing that game told me they would play it today, I think they said tomorrow, and that was yesterday, but I don't remember. Either today or tomorrow, they'll play it. I have streams Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so I'll probably be streaming those replays either Monday or Tuesday of next week. And as soon as that last game is played, I will be organizing with the top 4 to get that. If you're excited about the top 4, if you're excited to see Green One and Phoenix King head off and see who gets to finals, I would have you know it is best of 1 in the semifinals, but the finals is best of 3. We will be using land battles, the capture point mod, and land battles. So if you're excited about the capture point mod, that will be in the finale. I do encourage you to check that out. Gojira and Umai's, and I think those are the 2 people I mostly work with for that one. But yeah, they made that mod. They're pretty proud of it. And it's pretty much land battles, so I don't see any issue with showcasing it on the faction war. I know they run some tournaments with it. I haven't, but I've just been busy. I don't have anything against it. I've just been busy. And then when I am back, it's like, well, I want to run Gladiator. Well, I want to run Vermin League. I want to also, like, play the game. And then there's BBB season 1 stuff that I've been casting a little bit. And then ODM stuff I've been casting. So, yeah, I haven't been doing much with the cap point mod just because I've been fucking busy with other land battle shit. Too many people playing garbage-ass land battles, making me cast them. So, yeah. Other half, probably early next week. Maybe tomorrow. That is the hardest maybe I've ever given. But if I get that replay in like the next 2 hours, maybe tomorrow. Okay. That's all I have. If you enjoyed this stream, please subscribe. We have slowed down on growth super hard. And I also received some very disappointing news that I can't share just yet. But I did receive some disappointing news. Still working on turning that around into a positive. But we need some channel growth. We need some channel growth. We need it. There's not enough people streaming multiplayer, sirs and madams. You gotta subscribe, because if you don't, YouTube won't recommend us. And if YouTube won't recommend us, we can't get all the subs. If we can't get all the subs, we can't get all the money. If we can't get all the money, I can't buy a yacht. And if I can't buy a yacht, what's the point of being alive? Goodbye.